his skill, everything about it was out of this world.
When you said Xabi Alonso, was he? I thought he was at Liverpool for 5 years.
Well, he was.
Is that long enough? Or?
Yeah, but unfortunately, listen, Alonso used to love watching, and look at the clubs he's played for, by the way, and the managers that have rated him. He was a close second. Two Liverpool players, really.
My number one, I loved watching David Silva, but I've gone for Diego Costa because he had that edge about him. And I'm almost reluctant to, because obviously he was born in Brazil but played for Spain, so I do appreciate that. But I'm putting him down as Spanish because he was a Spanish international. But
of course.
The 3 full seasons he had at Chelsea were beyond belief. The impact he had.
Won 2 titles,
scored so many goals. But he put the fear of God into all defenders, didn't he? Anybody playing against him.
And made every opposition hate him.
Yeah.
The fans of the opposition hated him.
Well, there's a story that the first time he met John Terry and he arrived at Chelsea, Diego Costa, he said to him these words, "I go to war, you come with me." Come on. I mean, if you're John Terry and you hear that, it warms your heart, doesn't it?
Well, they had a right back. I was at the game when he played for Atletico Madrid against Chelsea. I was at that game, and Costa bullied him. He absolutely bullied Chelsea that game. I'll never forget it. And then they went and signed him. And after the way he carried on that game against Chelsea, I would have never thought they would have gone and signed him. And they did.
He was amazing. I think he was great to watch. He had that devil about him. Still does. And there is a fear among Chelsea fans, that he's going to sign for Tottenham. That's the fear, and help them get the title.
Really?
I know, yeah.
No, he's not going to Tottenham now. They've got the dream footballer. If you're listening after one game, everybody's talking about Vinicius as being a dream footballer. Play number 10, play out wide, play through the middle on his own strength, skill, goals. I mean, he didn't score, did he?
The way Spurs fans talk about their players, they'll be winning everything.
He did have a good game. But let's not get too carried away. Let's see him playing all these different positions he could possibly play in. When Kane is not in that side, it's slightly different.
Let me mention a couple of others that I thought about. I don't think you could argue that they were the best, but you could easily say they were your favourites, and they deserve a little mention in this debate. I mentioned this guy to Kevin Nolan when I interviewed him on Friday for Game Day. Fernando Hierro at Bolton could play centre-back, could play midfield. He was such a leader. He was there a very short space of time. And there was a game where he came, I can't remember which game it was, but he played for Bolton and he played about 70 minutes and he got a standing ovation coming off. He was that good. Even the benches were up applauding him. Mendieta at Middlesbrough I thought was really good as well. Before that he was exceptional at Valencia, but he was at Middlesbrough in that golden time when they got to a European final, etc. Azpilicueta at Chelsea. You talk about longevity, he's there and a leader as well. And I really like Bojan. He was at Stoke. And had he not got injured, he could have become a real Stoke legend, but he got a bad injury at Rochdale in the Cup, and it just ended his career fundamentally at the top level. A couple of tweets here. Scott says, no mention of Mata. He's been brilliant. He's literally won everything, hasn't he?
I think he's another one that has had a great time of it in the Premier League, been a fantastic player at times. And that year at Chelsea, he was outstanding. The problem is, since then, he got frozen out by Chelsea, went to Manchester United, and he's never really had a run since he's been at Manchester United. So it's slightly spoiling his reputation, isn't it? He's had a great career. Fantastic. And now he's just got back in the side at Man United and playing some good football.
He does deserve a mention. You say year at Chelsea. He was Chelsea Player of the Year 2 years running, 2011-12 and 12-13. And I did say he won everything. He hasn't actually won the Premier League title, believe it or not. He's won everything else. I know, it's incredible. But he's won everything else. So, yeah, terrific footballer.
Yeah.
He absolutely should be in the conversation, no question. Paul says you can't not include the one-season wonder Michu. And he scored a bag full of goals for Swansea. They won the League Cup. He scored a couple of goals against Chelsea in the semi-final that nobody thought they would win.
The influence on the season then, yeah?
Yeah. Well, in terms of that season, you ask Swansea fans who their favourite Spaniard is, it's going to be Michu, isn't it? One Leeds fan has said Pablo Hernandez.
Arteta?
Yet to do it in the Premier League, I think. Arteta? Arsenal fans? No, he's laughed at that one.
Play some good football at times. Come on.
Danny says the streets won't forget that year Michu was unplayable for Swansea. He's getting a lot of votes. And a Spurs fan says Soldado. What do you think? Really? I mean, that's got to be some sort of joke.
Find them.
Who have we missed out? Please let us know. Very quickly on the goalkeepers. I always maintain goalkeepers aren't proper footballers. You could have a separate goalkeeper debate, but there's one very special Spanish goalkeeper who should be in this conversation, and that's Kepa Arrizabalaga. No, that's David De Gea, isn't it?
David De Gea, of course, he was number one in the world, wasn't he? Best keeper in the world at one point. Manchester United Player of the Year, what was it, 3 years in a row or something, or 4 years in a row? So, yeah, absolutely should be in there.
He's
in the debate.
He's performed without a doubt. Who have we missed out? Give us a shout. And if you think we've got it all wrong, then let us know. 08717 22
Drive on Talk Sport with Toolstation. Tools and more for any task. With over 20,000 top trade quality products available.
At NatWest, we want to support businesses, so we're sharing our airtime with Paper Dreams.
I'm Simon from Paper Dreams. We handcraft striking, planet-friendly paper decorations, perfect for decorating your home this Christmas or any other special occasion. Search Paper Dreams and get inspired.
Want to keep building your business? NatWest offers a wide range of tools and coaching, including tips on planning your cash flow and identifying new audiences, so you too can make paper dreams real ones. Search NatWest Business.
Deep mud, sticky mud, splashy mud, muddy mud. Is that mud? Construction site mud mixed with cement and sand mud. Mud, glorious mud. If your business can't escape it, you'd better embrace it. The new Ford Transit Trail, built for the rough of it. All-wheel drive to get you through the thick of it. Mechanical limited slip technology so you don't slip on it. The new all-wheel drive Ford Transit Trail. Get muddy at Ford.co.uk. We're with you on this journey. Ford Commercial Vehicles, backbone of Britain. Visit Ford.co.uk.
New all-wheel drive Transit Trail, part of the Trail range, which includes the Transit Custom with mechanical limited slip differential technology.
Just the flu. You hear people say it every year. But if you have a chronic lung condition like COPD, bronchitis, emphysema, or asthma, there's no just about it. Flu is a virus that can cause serious complications for you. That's why we give you the flu jab free. It's your very best protection. Ask your pharmacist or GP today. NHS, we're here to help you protect against flu. Help us help you.
Time is running out. The Times and the Sunday Times flash sale ends Friday. So hurry if you want 50% off a digital subscription. Pay half price and get full access with regular online updates throughout the day. Plus you can watch videos, listen to podcasts, comment online and enjoy so much more. Stay well informed with the Times and the Sunday Times. Know your times. Visit thetimes.co.uk/sale. Terms and conditions apply.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of trade quality building products. In October, we've got 12.5mm fireboard plasterboard for just £7.49 each ex-VAT. Now that's a real deal. Find even more real deals at Selco Builders Warehouse and online at selcobw.com. Selco, serving the trade for 125 years.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
Charged at 20%.
Don't miss the ultimate guide to the start of the Premier League season on TalkSport with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass. It's your essential daily roundup, delving into the latest team news, transfers and the ones to watch as the new season gets underway.
Oh my word, what an absolutely stunning goal!
The Premier League preview, all this week on TalkSport with the Now TV Sky Sports Pass. Only pay for the games that matter to you from just $9.99. Search Now TV, 18+, stream via internet, terms apply.
Traffic and travel on Talk Sport with Swinton Insurance. We'll help you find the right cover for your car, home, bike, van, taxi and business. Visit swinton.co.uk.
In Cheshire, on the eastbound M62, 2 lanes are blocked by an accident. That's from Junction 8 for Warrington West to Junction 9 for the A49 at Winwick. Do expect delays if you're headed that way. A little look now into Staffordshire. The northbound M6 has a lane blocked by a broken down car. That's between Junction 13 for Stafford South and 14 for Stafford North. And problems continue in the West Midlands. The southbound M6 has a lane blocked by an accident between Spaghetti Junction and Junction 5 for Castle Bromwich. I'm Paula Brett.
So I called me mate Tom and I said, I'm waiting for me Chinese to be delivered. What are you up to?
And he said,
I'm waiting for me car to be delivered from Cinch.
I said,
oh, Cinch.
And he said,
yeah, Cinch. Like you said, Cinch lets you buy a quality check used car online with a 14-day money-back guarantee.
And I said,
delivery included right to your door.
Yeah.
Oh, speak of the devil.
That's my lemon pepper chicken.
And he said,
Nah, that's my tasty motor.
You're in the driving seat now, Britain. Cinch. Cars without the faff. UK mainland delivery only. T's and C's apply.
Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. This is what real sport sounds like. Football, philosophy, a flutter, and some phone calls.
Hello.
Anybody there? Talk Sport.
Welcome back to the show that rarely stops.
Burge right-footed, scores! Allison goes the wrong way. Burge scores for Sheffield United.
He finds Foden, who turns and scores, and it's a brilliant equaliser from Manchester City.
Mane crosses, and Jota heads it in! And Liverpool are into the lead this time.
It's an outstanding goal by Mikel Antonio, and West Ham, with their first effort, take the lead.
Here's Grealish in the penalty area. Grealish puts it on his right foot and puts it in the back of the net. Jack Grealish has doubled Aston Villa's lead.
It was an instant finish by Ings, and this goal does stand, and Southampton lead.
The Premier League is back well and truly, and no better place to hear it than on game day on Talk Sport.
Yeah, game day, 11 a.m. on Saturday. Rashmi Chowdhury is going to be at Bramall Lane for Sheffield United Man City. 12:30 kick-off, live, exclusive commentary on Talk Sport. 2:30, it is game day live with me. I'm going to be at Burnley against Chelsea. We'll see which front four he picks there as well. We'll take you around the grounds, all the goals as they go in. At 5:30, live exclusive commentary on TalkSport of Liverpool against West Ham. And on Sunday, Villa Southampton midday kickoff is live and exclusive on TalkSport as well. And another Premier League game Monday night. Fulham against West Brom, 5:30. TalkSport 2, all the games.
And you don't have to pay $14.95.
So
just
free.
Tune in.
Let's get to your calls. Your favourite Spanish player in the Premier League era, your best Spanish player, whichever you want it to be. You can even include goalkeepers if you want. Glenn's a Newcastle fan. What do you think, Glenn?
Well, I don't know how you never mentioned Santi Cazorla.
Go on, tell us.
We left it for you, mate. He's on our list. Don't worry about that.
Every time he played against Newcastle, he was fantastic. Never had a bad game against us.
Two-footed as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it all started so brilliantly at Arsenal. I think his first season at Arsenal, Santi Cazorla was easily one of the best players in the Premier League. The injuries got hold of him, though, and I think there were two things that counted against Santi Cazorla in the Premier League, because his talent was there for all to see, no doubt about that. The two things were injuries in the end. They cost him dearly, and sadly we weren't able to see him as much as we wanted. His last 3 years he barely played.
That was a problem.
Yeah, huge problem. And I think also he played in that era where Arsenal were under so much pressure, where the fans were turning on Arsene Wenger, and maybe just if you'd plopped him into that team in the early 2000s, oh man, that could have been sensational. But it doesn't take away from the fact he's a brilliant player, brilliant footballer, Santi Cazorla. It's a great shout, Glenn. Thanks for that. Paul's a Spurs fan. Hiya, Paul.
I'm okay, mate. How about you? Good show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think in terms of Spanish players, I think my best one has to be David Silva. As far as I'm concerned, he was quality personified. But I think you missed out on your list, like Pepe Reina for Liverpool, the goalkeeper. I did really rate him.
Yeah, but he wasn't better than De Gea.
No, he was, but he was a good goalkeeper, though, wasn't he?
Worth a mention. Worth a mention without a doubt, mate. But David Silva, I don't think we're going to get many people who are going to argue on Silva for what he achieved at mate. He's part of that golden period who will always be remembered. Some of the big players have had that have brought through that successful period, getting back to one of the big boys, Manchester City. So he will always be in there. It'd be very hard to argue against him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and nobody disliked David Silva.
4 titles at City. I mean, great footballer.
Immense talent and well loved as well.
Yeah.
And seemed like such a gentle, lovely human being, as well as being an incredibly top footballer as well. So, yeah, if anybody doesn't think David Silva's in the mix, then please let us know. This one here says, best Spaniard, what about Ivan Campo and that haircuts? Let's just go back to that for a second. I mentioned Fernando Hierro before as well, and they're actually pretty similar positionally, the two Spaniards. This is Sam Allardyce bringing it into Bolton. Champions League winners from Real Madrid, Ivan Campo, Fernando Hierro. You remember Nicolas Anelka was at Bolton for a while, JJ Okocha, Djorkaeff. There's some incredible players, and Bolton are now slumming it in League Two.
It's amazing, really, when you think about it. Sam Allardyce, the job he did there was absolutely out of this world.
Sensational footballers. And the thing is, I do understand why people label Sam tactically the way they do, but when you sign the players that he had at Bolton. How can anybody put their hand up and say, well, Sam, old school manager, he's like another Mike Bassett, 4-4 flipping.
He got them all in.
Amazing. Bolton got to a final. They got into Europe. Incredible from Sam at Bolton, those players. Mark's a Liverpool fan. Who do you want to nominate, Mark?
Right, well, obviously, for longevity... evening, guys, by the way. Sorry.
Evening.
All right, Goffey, lad.
All right, kid.
Dream up north, kid, I tell them. Anyway, the first longevity, you can't really argue with David Silva, I'll be honest with you. One of my favourite Spaniards on a short-term burst was... He drinks sangria, Luis Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
One of the goals he scored against Juventus in the Champions League semi-final, I think it was, or quarter-final. Absolutely at Anfield. We beat him 2-0. And, yeah, it just very underrated in the short. It joined with Xabi Alonso. And I'll be honest with you, I'd never heard of him. But it just Liverpool fans took to Luis Garcia. He had a lovely mane on him, lovely hairdo. Yeah, I mean, I work headband, but just that short period of time where we're at Liverpool, Liverpool fans took him to heart, and he's one of my all-time favourite Spanish players.
I think that we all remember the ghost goal, the Luis Garcia ghost goal in that semi-final at Anfield against Chelsea.
And that ghost goal, Adrian. Come on, it were in. I don't care what Mourinho says. That were over the line,
miles over the line. But that's what made him kind of a cult hero, a very good footballer. I'm not saying he wasn't a good footballer and didn't deserve the credit, but it really made him a cult hero, Mark, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it did. That little summit mouth celebration that he used to do. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. We loved him at Anfield.
Champions League winner. Thanks for that.
Surprisingly, I thought he was going to come on and say Alonso there at Liverpool.
It's just favourites, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alonso was a terrific footballer. Pedro at Chelsea, I'd like to mention as well. Not the best. You can't put him in the same league as Fabregas or David Silva, but he gave a great service for Chelsea over a number of years and won some stuff as well. Terrific player. We are going to talk about Manchester United's midfield next on the show.
Drive on Talk Sport with Toolstation. Tools and more for any task. With hundreds of top trade brands, including DeWalt, Myra, Brother and Crown available.
If you like powering through that to-do list, then you might like Aldi. There's a 25-piece tool set, just $19.99. Essential kit. Plus a multifunction sharpener at $14.99. And a 3.6-volt lithium-ion cordless screwdriver at $12.99. Home maintenance special buys. Online now, in-store Thursday. Aldi. Every day amazing.
At Lloyds Bank, we're by the side of all our customers, whoever they are, whatever their situation. From young couples trying to make ends meet, to the parents unexpectedly welcoming their children home, to those getting to grips with a new normal. We are here to support you, offering useful, practical advice to help you feel in control. For more help, visit us online or speak to us over the phone or in branch. Lloyds Bank, by your side.
By playing the National Lottery, you raise £30 million every week for good causes. £30 million. That can build 1 million bee hotels to help the environment. Actually, shouldn't they be called B&Bs instead? Every week, you raise £30 million for good causes. The National Lottery. Your numbers make amazing happen. Players must be 16 or over.
The KFC Wow Box. If your wallet's getting thinner, don't be a sinner, be an original recipe winner. Get 3 favourites for lunch or dinner. A fillet burger, 1 piece of chicken and fries for just $3.49. What the? The Wow Box, only at KFC. Ends 15th of November at participating restaurants, subject to availability, not available online.
Suzuki dealers love being helpful. Flo is a charity quiz master, and Paz is a copper run genius. But what they really love is helping you drive happy. With great cars, great service, and great offers. Like 0% APR and no deposit on the agile hybrid Swift range. Search Suzuki Swift range to find out more. Suzuki, helping you drive happy. Participating dealers only. Minimum contract length applies. Suzuki Financial Services Limited. Terms and conditions apply. See cars.suzuki.co.uk/offers.
We're facing the biggest health challenge of our generation. And we've shown that together we're stronger than ever. But to keep making a difference, we need to support each other. If you're a man and you've had coronavirus recently, then you might just have the antibodies to help save lives in your blood plasma. That's why we urgently need men to donate. Giving blood plasma is safe and easy. Be the difference. Search Donate Plasma or call 0300 123 2323 today.
If you fit doors, windows or cabinets for a living, the Hedgehog Easy Air Wedge is the extra pair of heavy lifting, COVID secure hands you've been waiting for. The Hedgehog Easy Air Wedge inflates, lifts and levels up to 140 kilos, leaving you to get on with the job. Available from all good builders merchants or order online at easyairwedge.com for safe, contactless delivery to your door. The Hedgehog Easy Air Wedge, an extra pair of COVID secure hands in your toolbox.
Talk Sport. On air, online and on TV at Virgin Media Channel 927.
So let's talk about the Man United midfield. Can you actually play Van der Beek, Fernandes and Pogba in that same midfield three? Is that possible, or does it leave you a little bit short at the back? 0871722 3344 after the sport with Ben Fletcher and the news, Amelia Cox.
On the way, whole of Nottingham heading for Tier 3.
And Chelsea goalless in Russia with full commentary on TalkSport 2.
TalkSport.
The government has confirmed the whole of Nottinghamshire will be entering England's toughest coronavirus restrictions on Friday. 8 districts will head into Tier 3 lockdown, which means pubs which don't serve food will have to close and households can't mix in any setting. Labour MP for Nottingham South, Lillian Greenwood, says there needs to be an exit strategy too, though.
I think one of the main questions that my constituents have been asking this week
to make more ground now, and he's ventured forward into Krasnodar territory, some 15-20 yards, finding Hudson-Odoi towards the edge of the penalty area. Werner, the blonde-haired striker, dropping off to meet him. High crossfield ball, just about brought down under control by Azpilicueta, but ended up running away from him and goes out of play for a Krasnodar throw in their left-back position down by the corner flag. Now we're 7.5 minutes in on TalkSport 2 at 0-0.
2 issues for Chelsea at the moment. They've given away 4 or 5 very loose passes that Krasnodar have almost got on the end of. You know, the passing has not been anywhere near good enough, giving away the ball under no pressure. And the other thing, you could play centre-half for Krasnodar at the moment, Jim. Not once have Chelsea looked to turn them. Everything's been in front of it. They've not had to turn and run towards their own goal. They can see everything. They've not really been tested. You've got to stretch the game, play balls in behind, get those defenders thinking. It's been very, very easy, and this is what I'm saying. You know, if I was saying, what do you want from it? Fast start, play balls in behind, get defenders facing their own goal, get players worried about Havertz running in behind, Odoi running in behind, and Ziyech as well, and even Werner. And suddenly, you know, defenders have to drop off, and that allows the midfielders a little bit more space. You know, we're 8.5 minutes in, and there's not a single ball been played in behind the Krasnodar defence.
Chelsea will try and work a long ball forward now, and coming across the cover is Martinovic. Azpilicueta can pick it up, Ziyech can turn, all of a sudden finds himself some space, he deceives Tony Vilhena, and then has a low shot towards the near post that's beaten away by the goalkeeper Safanov, and out of play for a corner. Well, Fletcher, you think I could play centre-half. I'm 5'7" with a BMI that's probably just about in 3 figures. But
what I'm saying is that they've not been tested in any way, shape or form. All they've had to do is just slide, 10 yards to the side, 10 yards back again. You know, they've not had to sprint anywhere, they've not had to turn, there's no movement. It's very, very easy for them.
Some marking to be done here. Chelsea's first corner, Ben Chilwell, the delivery, which is headed away. And into space with Jorginho, his first 2, and he plays the direction he's playing, back towards Kovacic inside the centre circle. He then turns and goes all the way back for Mendy, who's made one smart stop already with 9 gone at 0-0.
I meant me and you could play centre-half, by the way.
Yeah, you'd have to carry me through
I'd nurse you through it, of course. But, 10 minutes into the game, and it's very, very easy at the moment for Krasnodar.
This is better, more purposeful from Chelsea, working the ball out into a wide position for Havertz. Havertz controls it, lays it back for Ziyech. Ziyech late on the scene on the right-hand side of the penalty area, muscled out of it by Ramirez. Clearance then hit Havertz and bounced back inside the box. And as it came back off Havertz, Ziyech, and getting back to his feet, then made an attempt to play. The ball was in an offside position, so it's a free kick to Krasnodar inside their own penalty area. Jim Bradford and Danny Mills talking through the action Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 0 in the second group game in the Champions League. Just seeing a replay, incidentally, as Havertz played it back. Ziyech was onside. Clearance comes from the free kick from Safanov, and it's dealt with effectively enough by Zuma, who lent it to Marcus Berg, and lets the ball roll all the way through for Mendy. Mendy, who's just conceded the one goal for Chelsea so far. No previous Champions League experience in his career. Player signed from Rennes, who in this group as well, remember. Rennes in action later, away in Seville against Sevilla. And Dance and David Connolly will keep you updated with the goals as they go in that game, which is an 8 o'clock kickoff.
I think goalkeeper's probably the one position where Champions League experience probably doesn't matter too much. I think, as a goalkeeper, it's a lonely position, at the best of times. It's not like, suddenly you're going, the standard of outfield players and the movement is all that much quicker. I think as a goalkeeper at this sort of level, Champions League experience shouldn't make too much difference.
Certainly a player that's learning on the job anyway, Edouard Mendy. Hasn't got that many miles on the clock for a 28-year-old, only 132 senior appearances, but he's already caught the eye as Chelsea's goalkeeper, and looks an excellent acquisition. Free kick's gone Chelsea's way for a foul by the Swedish international Christopher Olsen, who's a central midfielder who's been tasked with playing on the right-hand side of the midfield five for Krasnodar tonight. Now it's worked out towards Azpilicueta. His ball forward over halfway. Ziyech takes it on the spin and the half turn, plays it out wide towards Azpilicueta on the overlap for him. First time ball in from him. Finds a Chelsea player. It's Havertz. Werner, I beg your pardon, has gone down, and he's won a penalty. The ball played in towards Timo Werner inside the penalty area, and his movements was just too sharp and swift. And Chernoff, in trying to play the ball, got his man instead. And Chelsea have the opportunity to take the lead from the spot.
I mean, that's incredible. It looked like he went down about 3 or 4 seconds too late. We're just seeing it again. And he goes down quite theatrically. He does just get caught. Yeah, as the challenge does come in, just catches his toe. He certainly makes the most of it to make the referee aware of what's gone on.
Yeah, it was Kayo, the centre-half, that came back. Being the Champions League, of course, there's no VAR in the Europa League. There is in the Champions League, and it's Massimiliano Irati from Italy who's having a look at the pictures just to see if he believes the referee has made a clear and obvious error. But welcome to listeners joining us on Talk Sport as Chelsea have a 14th minute penalty here and an opportunity to take the lead. It was a foul by Kayo, the Brazilian centre-half, on Timo Werner. Penalty has been given. The VAR agrees with the decision, and it's an opportunity for the Blues to take the lead, and it's a hop and a skip, and Jorginho's missed it, and on the rebound Timo Werner's effort is blocked, and it was a penalty that hit the inside of the post. Goalkeeper had committed himself. He came back off the post, hit the goalkeeper, and bounced to safety. Jorginho with that typical languid run-up, but just a little bit too laid back on that occasion, missed the target, and Chelsea have missed a penalty.
Hop, skip, jump, foul jump, wasn't it? Didn't quite make it happen. Sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, went to the left-hand side. You're right, it just looked a little bit more casual than normal. And as it came back off the post, I mean, the goalkeeper's maybe earned a little bit of luck. It hits him on the backside and bounced to safety. But even once it hit the post, Jorginho didn't really react. Had it, it come off the inside of the post, went along the sort of the line, hit the goalkeeper. Had Jorginho reacted a little bit quicker and been on his game a little bit more, I think he could have got to that and put it in first.
Those thoughts of former England World Cup defender Danny Mills alongside me, Jim Prower, keeping an eye on Krasnodar against Chelsea. Whole game is live for you on TalkSport 2. That was a moment that was in keeping really with a pedestrian start that Chelsea have made. Second best in the opening 7 or 8 minutes. They've slowly begun to warm to their task. Mendy's made one smart save diving away to his right-hand side. But that Jorginho missed penalty clearly the most significant moment of the night so far. As I say, the whole game is live on TalkSport 2. Get the TalkSport app. You can just swipe one way between TalkSport and then the other to TalkSport 2 and keep abreast of everything that is going on. But it is, with 15 minutes gone, Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 0. And here come Chelsea again with Havertz laying it off in the midfield. Werner will make a run ahead of Ziyech. Hudson-Odoi, the target of the ball that's played for, is Vilhena that nods it away. Utkin will just go to ground as he tries to help it on, and the referee acknowledged that he was fouled. Smolnikov, as Krasnodar have the advantage, will bring it forward from right back, and a little backheel flick from him intended for Olsen. Just didn't read it at all, and it's dribbled out of play for a throw. But Chelsea have to make sure that they can put that penalty miss behind them. It was Jorginho just with that slow, stuttering approach, run up to try and force the goalkeeper to commit himself. He did that part of it, but then just missed the target, and as Danny so rightly says, was slow to react on the back of it. And we're 16 minutes in, and both sides, for differing reasons, will feel that they should be 1-0 up.
But also Krasnodar will be much the happier side. They've started better. Chelsea have started very, very slowly. It feels like watching it that Chelsea have been a little bit cautious, and they want to score the perfect goal. It's almost right out from the goalkeeper, into the right back, into the midfielder, switch the play, down one side, come back out the other. You know, it's like got to be 20 passes and then a little tap-in. Sometimes, you know, you have to be a little bit more direct. I'm not talking about hoofing it from the back. You've got to get on the ball. First thought has to be forward. Can you break the lines of the opposition? Can you get people running in behind your man or running off the back of?
Is Kai Havertz and towards Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta 3 yards from the dead ball line, right-footed ball in, the heads go up for it. It was Hudson-Odoi that got the contact under pressure, and it's ended up on the roof of the net. The last touch coming off one of the Krasnodar defenders. It is going to be a corner, I think. The replay just showing that penalty again as it hit the inside of the left-hand post, ricocheted back into the back of the goalkeeper Safanov, and then didn't break for Jorginho. Werner, by the time he got a shot in, had Martinovic between him and goal, and he was able to block it. Chelsea's second corner. Chilwell to take it. Left arm raised above his head in this big bowl of a stadium. Left-footed ball swept in from him. First touch from the edge of the penalty area from Kaio. Vilhena can help it further away. Back it comes towards Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi with a little step over, gets towards the edge of the area, tries to turn and chop it back onto his right foot. Utkin stuck out of foot and knocked it away. They'll be helped further clear through the midfield by Berg. And now Tony Vilhena, the Dutchman, will make his way forward down the right-hand side of the Krasnodar midfield. Infield from him to Christopher Olsen. Back to Gazinski. Gazinski just behind square for Kaio. And Kaio now down towards Chernoff on the left-hand side. The fullback making his way forward. Back into the feet of Kaio, the centre-half. Quick exchange of passes with Gazinski. Kaio's ball into the feet on the edge of the penalty area. It's a lovely little step over from Utkin. Vilhena trying to get himself into a shooting position, and he took a shot which then deflected away, and Mendy was wrong-footed. And Chelsea very grateful that the deflection spun the ball wide of the post. So the goalkeeper couldn't react to that as it came back off, I think, Kurt Zuma's knee, and it goes just wide for a corner.
Chelsea fortunate. Great play from Krasnodar. Some really slick 1-2 touch passing, zipping it around, got themselves into a really good position, and Mendy was fortunate. He was completely wrong-footed by the deflection.
Corner which Olsen, one of the 2 Swedish internationals in the team, will take. Martinovic amongst those 4 from centre-half. Good header away from Havertz towards the edge of the penalty area. Chopped onto his left foot from Ramirez, and then he ended up having a shot with his weaker right foot, and it's easily saved by Mendy, diving away to his right-hand side to clutch the ball into his body. It remains 0-0 on TalkSport 2 with 19 minutes gone. Jorginho missing a penalty. Krasnodar have been the better of the 2 teams, notwithstanding that clearest opportunity of the game going Chelsea's way. Zuma receives the ball from Rudiger inside the penalty area, then plays it down to Azpilicueta into the feet of Timo Werner, who won the penalty for the challenge by Kaio. Now to go out to the Chelsea left-hand side for Chilwell. A couple of loose touches from him in the first 5 minutes or so, but Chelsea have improved in that regard to a certain extent, not giving the ball away as frequently as they did in the opening exchanges, but they're still not at their best, far from it. Only lost one of the last 11 away games in Europe, Chelsea, which is an impressive record. It's an unbeaten streak of 10 that was ended by Bayern Munich in the second leg of the round of 16, which you'll remember took place best part of 5 months after the first leg. Back in August, Chelsea well beaten in that. And hoping to avoid an ignominious record after that draw that they had against Sevilla at Stamford Bridge last time out. Got to go back to 1999 for the last time that Chelsea didn't win either of their first 2 Champions League group games. On that occasion, they were held to a 0-0 draw by Milan at Stamford Bridge, and they went to Berlin and lost to Hertha. That Ali Day, the Iranian striker, on target that day. But this one, 0-0, with Azpilicueta in possession. He's worked it back for Zuma to Rudiger on the left-hand side of the back line, out towards Chilwell, and we're 21 minutes in. Danny Mills.
Chelsea's football is all very, very safe at the moment. No one's looking to try anything. Nobody's really looking forward, with any great speed. And I think Krasnodar started the game and would have been hugely respectful of Chelsea. But I think now they've realised, 20 minutes in, hang on a minute, they're maybe not as good as we thought. There's no reason why we can't compete with this and we can have a real good go. And I think they're now starting to grow in confidence.
Yellow card shown to Christopher Olsen for a challenge. He was out of control as he dived in on Kai Havertz. Havertz saw it coming and was able just to get out of the way of it. Jumped up in the air, but the contact was made. It's a free kick in the centre of midfield. And a yellow card for Olsen. Chelsea have it with Azpilicueta in towards Ziyech, who not seen too much of so far. And again, Krasnodar are able to bring it away, and it's taking a last touch as Vilhena plays it forward off Kovacic for a throw that will be taken on the Krasnodar left-hand side, midway through the first half. Now an awkward bouncing ball inside the area, but there's a hand. It hit Berg. And it bounced down for Utkin inside the penalty area. He was hoping to be able to get a shot in, but as it was a play for him, it's actually Chernoff it hit, and he's unlucky because it hit him on the back of the arm. He was continuing his run forward. There was nothing he could do to stop. He couldn't see the ball as it was playing. It hit him on the back of the elbow and bounced down towards Utkin, and the referee has given the free kick. Potential maybe a bit of offside in there as well. But anyway, midway through the first half, it is 0-0 between Krasnodar and Chelsea as the ball is played forward. Havertz trying to help it on as it's returned over his head by Kaczynski. He then can't get a second header on it. Clipped over the top again to turn the Chelsea back line. And Mendy might have been able to collect the ball inside his penalty area. He took a stride outside the box and cleared it. But then as it's worked back into the fray by Olsen, he will be able to pick it up. Chelsea's Senegalese goalkeeper. And will ball it down towards the right-hand side for Azpilicueta to try and make his way forward. And still waiting for the deadlock to be broken on a night where Jorginho's already missed a penalty. At 0-0 between Krasnodar and Chelsea.
Well, apart from the penalty that came out of the blue, Chelsea have offered absolutely nothing going forward, have they? And I'm really surprised. Hudson-Odoi, Havertz, Werner, Ziyech as well. None of them have really done anything of any note to get you excited at the moment. Need a lot more from these players. I just think they're not. The tempo's too slow. They just need a bit of sharpness to work a little bit harder.
Kovacic has won a free kick. It's fouled by Vilhena. Can you give us an insight, Danny, as to how the travel will affect plans? I think it's a 4-hour flight that the Chelsea plans players were on.
It's irrelevant.
Is it?
It's irrelevant. When we were at Leeds, you get on the train, you get a bus to York train station, half an hour. You get on the train for 2 hours down to Stevenage. You then get on a bus for an hour, into London. That's 4 hours. No different. These guys are travelling in start. They do it regularly. It's not like it's a one-off and they're not used to it. They're all used to travelling all over the shop. They're travelling in ultra comfort. They're not cramped up in coach, are they? With their knees around their ears. So there should be no difference whatsoever. They've probably stayed on English time as well. And they've been working on that for the last few days. So, they've been training at similar times to what they're going to kick off. So, no, not in this day and age. There is no excuse.
Well, Kyle can bring the ball forward here for Krasnodar, and it's worked cleverly around the corner by Ramirez. Ramirez to Berg. Berg with a right-footed effort that was on target. I think it would have been easily saved. Jorginho had got in the way. Then I think Zutkin's gone down on the edge of the penalty area, wanting a penalty, and he's stayed down. He's in the way. Kaczynski fires it in, and Zuma acrobatically clears on the stretch with his right foot. Still Zutkin is down, wanting a penalty. Chelsea, as they're entitled to do, playing to the whistle. Ziyech is in the middle. Can Havertz find him? Not quite, because as the ball was whipped in, Kyle just came back and got his head to it to flick it away. And now Ramirez will put it out of play so that the treatment can be administered at the other end of the field. The Krasnodar fans and some of the Krasnodar players not happy that Chelsea played on. They're perfectly entitled to. It's up to the referee to stop it. We're just having a look at the replay of the infringement. He was going up for what he hoped would be an overhead kick, Utkin, and he's leant into Havertz, and he's just tried to buy a penalty, shoulder to shoulder, nothing more than that at all.
Get up, simple as that. It's not even a shoulder to shoulder. Havertz has just stepped across him. Good defending, getting his body in the way. He goes down very, very easily, looking for the penalty. I mean, we've got to remember, football is still a contact sport. You are going to get challenges. People are going to bump into each other from time to time. This is not basketball. And I'm pretty sure we've all seen the Michael Jordan documentary when there's players coming off with bloodied noses and some serious injury. They've been shoved into the stands and everything else. That's a non-contact sport. So come on. You've got to be a little bit stronger than that.
He had an ice pack applied, I suspect, to spare his blushes rather than anything else, to administer any medical treatment.
I was going to say, that's done loads good, isn't it? Putting a little pack of ice on his neck for 5 seconds. I mean, that's the equivalent of the magic spray or the magic sponge back in the day.
Yeah, he might not even have had 5 seconds worth. It was, here you go. Let's pretend you got injured. He's okay. Miraculously, he's back on his feet. Able to continue. The official stats say that Chelsea have had 73% possession so far, but
I would suggest that's all in their own half.
Absolutely, they've done nothing with it.
That's the biggest problem.
One effort on target, which was one effort on target, was off target, the penalty, which hit the inside of the post. One effort on target and he was off target. Here, Chelsea have it with Jorginho. Room for improvement tangible for Frank Lampard's men at the moment. 0-0 the score. As it's been in the last 2 games, they haven't had a 0-0 draw in any of their first 62 games under Frank, but have had 2 in a row. As Piliqueta just asked to come back, will take a throw for Chelsea to the feet of Werner. Back for Bas Piliqueta again. Kovacic turning it to Jorginho, cleverly found some space. Havertz has dropped that little bit deeper from the number 10 role and can chip the ball out towards Ben Chilwell. Chilwell motioning with the fingers of both hands for players to come towards him, wanted more options, and that's another illustration of the difficulties that Chelsea have had as Chilwell's picked it up 5 outside the penalty area and with nothing on, he's gone 20 yards back behind him, and Chelsea have had to build from deeper. There's just no cutting edge at the moment from Frank Lampard's men. 0-0.
Training ground tempo from Chelsea? That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even when they're passing it, they're not pinging it around, they're not zipping it into each other. It's quite casual most of the time.
Werner for Ziyech. That's Piliqueta making a good run forward for him.
Again.
He'll get another opportunity here. Ziyech towards the edge of the D, and it's a shot on target, but diving to his left, Safanov can make a comfortable save.
Got lucky. Gave the first one away again. Trying to just being casual, trying to play it in behind this time. And the shot from 25 yards out was never really going to trouble the goalkeeper. It was on target, but if that goes in, then you're asking all sorts of questions of the goalkeeper.
Safanov really highly regarded. He's recently been called up to the national squad for the first time, the Krasnodar keeper. But he has only kept 2 clean sheets this season in 14 games in all competitions, so Chelsea will expect to be able to create opportunities against this team. Were beaten 3-1 at home at the weekend by Spartak Moscow, and that was the 4th league defeat they've suffered in 11 games that they've actually played. It's 12 games against their record, but one of those 3-0 victory given to them after their opponents were unable to fulfill the fixture because of COVID.
I mean, everything's sideways, Jim, isn't it, at the moment? No one's really looking forward. No one's looking to get in behind and break the lines. Krasnodar, there are no awful teams in the Champions League anymore. I know they're not in great form at the moment, but they will raise their game. It's the first, home game in the Champions League. There's fans in the stadium.
Yeah.
That will give them a lift as well. They're playing against Chelsea. Great pedigree, have won this competition. You've got to do more.
There was a yelp of pain as Ziyech went to ground. He's got a free kick, and then the referee very quickly, after observing for a couple of seconds what was going on, then broke into a sprint, whistle in mouth. Whether there were some afters that he didn't like the look of, he's trying to calm things down. Utkin again involved, so too the Ecuadorian Christian Ramirez, who scored that fantastic goal for Krasnodar to equalise at Rennes last week, to get them off to a positive start. All of the games in this group so far, draws, the two results from last week and the two score lines, or tonight's scoreline between Krasnodar and Chelsea, also all square at the moment, 0-0. Chilwell laying it back inside his own half for Rudiger. And Rudiger will bring it forward towards halfway, where there's space for Jorginho to turn, and he'll angle a high right-footed ball forwards. A peach of a pass, found Azpilicueta, down by the dead ball line, cuts it inside, past the fullback, finds Ziyech towards the edge of the penalty area. Werner with a layup that lacked accuracy. Ziyech will try and win it back and make something happen. But Ramirez can just get it away, dig it clear and out of play for a throw. There's just not that sharpness still around the edge of the penalty area when Chelsea can work themselves into good positions. It just all breaks down. There's not the real finesse and guile about their play at the moment.
It'd be interesting to see the stats on unnecessary giveaways of the ball, under no real pressure. Another one there. Got to be into the high teens, I would say, at the moment. Chelsea have just not been able to keep the ball.
Krasnodar have got it now with Gazinski. And in terms of the attempts so far, it's 5 for each side, 2 on target for each side. Despite the fact that Chelsea's possession is 3 quarters and Krasnodar's just 1 quarter. Tony Vilhena got it now, a player who played more than 250 games for Feyenoord, the 300th senior game of his career today. Played forward towards Utkin, making his way forward, trying to play the ball into the feet of Berg, missed him, and then just carried on and maintained possession himself. Gazinski can now work it out towards the right-hand side. Left-footed ball chipped inside the penalty area. It's a high, looping, misjudged header from the fullback Chernoff. And it goes through to the goalkeeper Mendy, who will get it forward upfield very quickly. But again, no real quality about his long ball upfield. Krasnodar win it, but Chernoff in sliding can't keep the loose ball on the island. And it goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Chelsea right-hand side. Danny Mills alongside me, Jim Proudfoot, watching on from our London studios. Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 0, and I think Frank will be a little bit bemused by many aspects of the performance so far.
We know that in the last few games he's gone a little bit more cautious, but I think it's almost gone too far that way. And saying to the players that let's not get carried away. Don't be too cavalier. They've gone over cautious. And now they're sitting back and they're not really looking forward at all. Got to get that balance right.
When you think back to that game away at West Brom, which ended 3-3, where Chelsea perhaps got the balance wrong the other way. It's obviously a little bit of overcompensation, you'd suggest. But Chelsea as an attacking entity, as we've been saying, just struggling to find their rhythm or the right formula at the moment. Zuma's given a free kick away here, which Krasnodar will try and capitalise on. It's an opportunity for them to get bodies forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Chelsea keeping a line a couple of yards outside the box. And Martinovic, the big centre-half, is amongst those forward. Good easy header away came from Zuma. And then on the slide, Chelsea will be able to bring it further clear and release Timo Werner. And now he can play it, just push it forward, tap and run into Krasnodar territory. The hosts have got their shake back behind the ball, but it's a nice crossfield ball from Ziyech, brought down by Hudson-Odoi. Not seen too much of him so far today. It's a good ball forward from him. Chilwell pulling it back, and he's missed Werner, and Vilhena can clear. Chelsea win the seconds. Kovacic on the edge of the D. Back from him to Azpilicueta. Ziyech back to Azpilicueta again. We'll try and get across in ahead of Ramirez, who's tracking the Chelsea captain's every move. Azpilicueta back down towards Ziyech, goes out of play, and it has been given as a Krasnodar throw. and Ziyech punches the ball away in dismay. 10 minutes to go in this first half, and it remains Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 0, with Jorginho missing a Chelsea penalty.
A lot of frustration, I think, out there for Chelsea at the moment. And I think that goes to sum it up. When they broke away there, Werner was one-on-one for a minute. I know he was in his own half. But 6 Krasnodar defenders managed to get back into position. No Chelsea attacking players got into that position either. And it ended up effectively 6-on-2. Now, Chelsea have got to make more of an effort. I just think they've got that balance wrong from going all-out attack at the early part of the season, conceding goals, to suddenly now, we've got to sit in and be defensive. But they've been too defensive, they've been too cautious, and that's taken away from their attacking prowess.
Azpilicueta will take a throw for Chelsea, level the edge of the Krasnodar box. Knocked away by Gazinski, and then brought down through the midfield easily enough by Chernov. His ball forward, chased after by Gazinski. Covered a lot of ground there, but Rudiger had enough of a head start. Goes back for his goalkeeper Mendy, out to Chilwell. Back towards Zuma. 9 to go to half-time here on TalkSport 2 at 0-0. And Juventus against Barcelona to come in the second half of our double bill here on TalkSport 2 tonight. And more live European action for you tomorrow as Spurs in Belgium that take on Royal Antwerp this time tomorrow. And that one live for you right here as well. Werner trying to ride the challenges towards the edge of the penalty area. Lays it off for Ziyech. Ziyech into the feet of Havertz. Havertz turning around the corner. Hudson-Odoi with a shot, and it's in! Horrible moment for the goalkeeper, Safanov. Hudson-Odoi with a routine shot. He should have been saved, but he's gone right through the young Russian. And Chelsea have the advantage 8 minutes before half-time.
Strike from Hudson-Odoi from the edge of the box. Had no real power in it. After the keeper's chucked one in, simple as that. I think he's gone to take it into his midriff and fall on the ball. Misjudged it. There's a goal check for some strange reason. Not quite sure why. VAR are looking at something. Are they looking at a potential offside?
Oh, well, it depends. It's a ball's playful. No, Hudson-Odoi's onside. He's absolutely fine. Had he gone out to Chilwell on the left-hand side of the penalty area, he was in an offside position, but it didn't. He wasn't interfering with play, and that is, in goalkeeping terms, that's a horrific mistake by Safanov.
Yeah, there's no other way to say it, is the Jim. He's dived, he's put his arms out. It's a comfortable save. It hits his elbow and he puts it into his own net. There's no way that should end up in the back of the net. And Chelsea consider themselves, the way that they've played, very, very fortunate.
Callum Hudson-Odoi's 10th goal in Chelsea colours. And they lead in Krasnodar by a goal to nil on TalkSport 2. That goal 8 minutes before half-time.
Is that the first time he's actually been positive, though? I mean, he's had the ball on that left-hand side quite a few times. I've not seen him run at anybody yet. I've not seen him try and dribble, take people on. So Chelsea have just been very, very cautious and very, very safe.
But they lead, and the fact that they've got the advantage may well lead to more of the same, I suppose.
It's almost like Mourinho's been hiding in the laundry basket, isn't it? and he's done the team tactics.
Win's a win. Mendy will play it out towards the left-hand side of the penalty area.
Jim, but in all fairness to Mourinho, he was set up a lot differently, and you still had those front players used to go and run riot. Chelsea are winning this by luck rather than judgment. This isn't an outstanding defensive performance where they've caught them on the counter-attack. They've been fortunate going forward.
Yeah, it's a 5.5 out of 10 performance with an 8.5 out of 10 scoreline. But rather that way round, I guess, than the other. The ball will be played down the inside right channel for Utkin to chase, and Rudiger's going to be there first, and he will clear. Long left-footed ball forward towards halfway. Martinovic, the tallest man on the pitch, the Belarusian centre-half, who's played more than 250 games for Krasnodar, has been part of their meteoric rise. He's headed it away. Then as the ball was played forward, Werner stopped. He must have sensed that he was offside. He was just trying to bend his run, force Kaya to play it. In the end, the Brazilian could play it very easily out from the back.
It was a poor, sorry Jim to interrupt, it's a poor ball though. Just play that with the inside of your foot. Werner's quick as you like. Stick it 3 or 4 yards in front of him and let him run onto it. He's looking to play it with the outside of his foot, right to his feet. That's not what Werner wants. There's no point giving it to Werner's feet when he's got space in front of him.
Well, when Ziyech is making his full debut for the club, it goes without saying it's the first time that these four have played together. I'm sure it's the first time these four have played together, the front four, at any stage of any game. With Hudson-Odoi on the left, Ziyech on the right, and Havertz at 10 in behind Werner. But there's not a great familiarity between them, in the sense that they're not all sure what the others are going to be doing at any given moment at the moment. Krasnodar try and work it forward, and that move breaks down. Smolnikov made a good run forward from right back, wanted it into feet on the edge of the D, but Kaczynski didn't supply him with the pass he wanted. And it's clear. Chelsea leading 1-0. They missed a penalty in the first 15 minutes, and Callum Hudson-Odoi has scored 4 minutes ago to give them the advantage, as Rudiger and Zuma exchange passes again at the back. Now to be played forward into the feet on halfway of Hakim Ziyech. Back from him to Zuma, to his goalkeeper Mendy, and with 4 minutes from half-time with Chelsea leading 1-0.
But you see there, Jim, where the ball gets played into Ziyech, just over the halfway line, there wasn't a single thought of, can I turn, can I take it with my back foot and look to go forward, maybe take somebody on. It was, no, I'm just going to play it backwards. And that's what I'm talking about, safety. You know, your midfield players, your front players, you want them to take it with the back foot, on the half turn. First look, can I play forward? Can I run forward? You know, can I just let the ball run and go into space? You know, Chelsea, it's like, oh, I'll have a touch and I'll go backwards first. That's their first thought at the moment. Again, giving the ball away.
No, Jorginho that time just tried a lofted chip out towards the left-hand touchline, but was easily dealt with by the Krasnodar back line. Worked back for the goalkeeper, his first touch since that horrible moment for him that gave Hudson-Odoi and Chelsea the lead. And Chilwell on the Chelsea left will play back into the midfield area for Jorginho. Jorginho to Kovacic, Hudson-Odoi to his left. Werner making a run forward, Havertz there as well. Space on the Chelsea right for Azpilicueta. They found him, good ball, right-footed ball in from him. Havertz going up for it, goalkeeper did just enough to come out and flick it off his head and force Havertz to head it over the bar, although the whistle had gone. I suspect that it might not have counted for an offside had it gone in. Just seeing the replay, yes, he was offside, but be disappointed that he didn't at least hit the target there, Kai Havertz. 1-0 Chelsea lead, 2.5 minutes to go to half-time.
I think Frank Lampard, we're looking at on our big screen. Team talk is fairly simple. You've got away with one, lads, up till now. It's not been good enough in any way, shape or form. You need to up the tempo, up the work rate, and start passing the ball to a pink shirt.
Now this is better from Hudson-Odoi. He's flicked the ball away from Kaczynski. Low left-footed cross was not so good. Kaio backpedaling can knock it away. And then Kaczynski will trot back in and find Smolnikov, who will be able to take it out towards the touchline. Kovacic stops his progress. It's played in Olsen. Olsen's facing the wrong way. Tries to turn away from Jorginho, and Jorginho's won it back. Now played forward through the midfield again by Chelsea. Mateo Kovacic gets towards the edge of the penalty area. Martinovic forces him back. Havertz. Little 1-2 with Kovacic in the midfield. Work back for Rudiger. Rudiger to Zuma. Zuma inside his own half. Chelsea leading it by a goal to nil with 90 seconds to go to half-time. And welcome again to listeners on Talk Sport. The closing stages of the first half in Krasnodar. Chelsea leading 1-0 with Callum Hudson-Odoi's goal on 37 minutes. But it was a low, innocuous shot which bounced in front of the goalkeeper, and he's contrived to scoop his hand underneath it and flick it over his own shoulder while he's lying on the ground, and it rolled into the net to give Chelsea a lead that they barely deserved. They missed a penalty on 14 minutes through Jorginho. His effort came off the inside of the post and back off the goalkeeper to safety. The Chelsea on the front foot again here. Ben Chilwell's got it, left-hand side of the penalty area in the closing moments of the first half. Little 1-2, Chilwell trying to get it in, and Chelsea have won a corner. Alongside me is Danny Mills, the former England World Cup defender. Danny?
Chelsea have been fortunate. They haven't played well. They've been sloppy at times. They've given the ball away, Jim. I'm just looking at the statistics. 60 passes have gone astray in this first half. Okay, admittedly they've had 440 odd passes, but 60 given away. That's way too many, and a lot of those under no pressure.
Chelsea do have the advantage And Ben Chilwell will take this corner, which is headed away and then scooped further clear by Vilhena. And an opportunity potentially on the counter-attack for Olsen. Leave it for Vilhena. Not too much in the way of support, but he'll drive forward into Chelsea territory. Lays it off to Olsen to his left-hand side. Chelsea still struggling to get their shape back, as Piliqueta can't win it back as we go into stoppage time. Olsen chips it in, and Edouard Mendy will be able to come out and make a comfortable play and just calm things down. Got the whole game live for you on TalkSport 2, where later we also have Juventus against Barcelona with David Connolly alongside Ian Danter for that one. But coming up to half-time, it's Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 1. And Chelsea can just work it out from the back again with Azpilicueta. Finding Kovacic. Kovacic back towards the edge of the box for Rudiger. Rudiger now towards Chilwell. Chilwell taking on and beating Utkin. Left-footed ball flighted forward from him. That is a good ball under pressure. It's found Ziyech. Ziyech onto his left foot. He's trying to chip one over the top. Havertz with a header from a tight angle, and he's just hit the side netting with it, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. And that goal kick will be the last touch of a first half. Room for improvement for Chelsea, but they do at least lead.
Yeah, as I said, Frank will be delighted that at the moment they're getting away with it. You know, the penalty, you'd expect Jorginho to score that. He didn't. That would have got him off the hook. And then Callum Hudson-Odoi, a tame shot from the edge of the box. The goalkeeper spills, chucks it into his own net, and Chelsea go in 1-0 up at half-time. Very, very fortunate.
They certainly haven't been anywhere near their best so far. The room for improvement is tangible, but that goal from Callum Hudson-Odoi, irrespective of the circumstances and the goalkeeping error from Safanov, enough to give Chelsea a half-time lead. It's Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 1.
Jim, thank you very much indeed. Danny, I don't think you're very impressed at all with Chelsea, are you?
Well, no, I'm not, and I mean that's why I try. I don't often like using statistics, but to give the ball away over 60 times, Chelsea have dominated possession. 75% of possession that they've had. 60 passes have gone astray. That's an obscene amount, for a team of that quality, and they've been under no real pressure. It's not like they're being pressed by Krasnodar, and they're all hurried passes, and that's the problem. I mean, Frank's, as I said, team talk is quite easy. It's like, you've got away with it. That's not good enough. You need to up your game in the second half, and that's effort, work rate, and attitude.
Yeah. 15 minutes in, referee didn't hesitate. Penalty, I presume you agree. Jorginho, the guy who took it, and he did this kind of strange hop, skip and a jump before he missed it.
He always does it, doesn't he?
Maybe he should stop.
Well, he scores most of his penalties. That's the problem. It's too easy to say that's why he missed it. That's what he does, and that's what he's always done. Again, but maybe the execution possibly a little bit casual. He sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, which is what he often does. He waits for him to move, but then he didn't manage to find the back of the net, and that's what let him down. And of course, as soon as you miss a penalty like that, it's like the Panenka. As soon as you miss it, everyone goes, I can't believe you've done that. It's different when it goes in.
Plus points, as Piliqueta, as usual, steady. Foraging forward.
Yeah.
When he got the chance. I was looking at Ziyech. To me, my eyes, untrained, unlike yours, in terms of playing professional football, he looked to be their best player.
I just think I've been disappointed with all the forward players. But they're exciting, they're creative. If I was in that Krasnodar defence, I'd be thinking, it's going to be a tough game. It doesn't matter whether I'm full-back, centre-half. I've got Timo Werner, quick as you like, runs in behind, great finisher. I've got Ziyech on one side that, can twist and turn, can come inside, can go down the line, can twist me so badly that my blood starts to curdle. Hudson-Odoi on the other side that, is a bag of tricks and has got pace and he's direct and causes problems. Havertz can, drop into the hole, but we haven't seen any of it from any of them, or not enough. So I think that's what they just need to up their game by at least 20%.
Yeah. I'm just wondering whether missing the penalty sort of drained them temporarily of a little bit of confidence. Although, having said that, first 10 minutes, it was all Krasnodar, wasn't it?
I mean, Krasnodar, they're going to raise their game. And all these players are experienced enough to know that when you go to a lesser team, and that's not being disrespectful, that's what Krasnodar are, they are going to raise their game. There's fans in the crowd this evening in the stadium. which of course are going to get behind Krasnodar as well. Chelsea, it's all about attitude. The only reason, 95% of the time, why the weaker side wins is because the stronger team don't have the right attitude. And that was what happened in the first half.
Yeah, well, they did get a goal. So, as you were saying, Frank will be in there saying, boys, you got away with one at that half. It was Callum Hudson-Odoi. Flimsy shot, really. I mean, the keeper had a nightmare.
It's almost one of those where the keeper's possibly thinking, what am I going to do with this when I've caught it, got on my feet, and am I looking to break early and throw it somewhere? He dives down to his left-hand side. He almost dives past it. The ball hits him on the elbow, on the forearm, and then sort of bounces up over his body and into the empty net. I mean, it's a howler, for the goalkeeper. There's nothing else you can say about it.
Yeah, howler for the goalkeeper. Good news for Chelsea. Thank you, Danny. More from Danny Mills and Jim Proudfoot. They're going to take you through the second half. Callum Hudson-Odoi, fortunate maybe, but they all count. And Chelsea are a goal to the good at half-time. Second half, of course, coming up in just a few minutes here on TalkSport 2.
TalkSport 2 Live.
The Mercedes-Benz Vito has evolved. Leaner, keener, more intelligent, with advanced connectivity, safety and security. The Vito comes with free vehicle monitoring technology to keep you one step ahead, including GPS tracking, intelligent route planning and real-time status updates, making it the smartest mid-size van on the road today. The new Mercedes-Benz Vito, a game changer for small businesses. Intrigued? Search Mercedes-Benz Vito to discover more.
Indeed knows that for any business, your next step is the most important one, such as hiring someone who can make an impact. Indeed helps you find high-impact hires fast, without any long-term commitments, so you only pay for what you need thanks to our flexible payment options. Take that next step with Indeed. Get started with a £100 credit for your first job post and get seen by more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/100. That's Indeed.com/100. Terms and conditions apply.
Love local. So do we. That's why most of our British Gas engineers work near home. So whenever you need a call out, you'll get one near you. All from just 46p a day. Buy selected home care products online by the 25th of November and get 1 month free. British Gas. Here to solve. Search British Gas Home Care. Conditions apply. Prices may vary by postcode.
The BT Sport Monthly Pass, £25, no contract. Watch the Premier League, UEFA Champions League and Europa League football. Plus epic UFC fights and the upcoming British heavyweight clash between Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce. The BT Sport Monthly Pass, £25 a month, no contract. Watch on your mobile, tablet, games console or smart TV. Search BT Sport Monthly Pass now. 30-day minimum term, renews automatically until cancelled. You can only access BT Sport in the UK. Compatible device needed. Terms apply.
It's payback time. British families have earned a break, and the home gym exercise bike can fund it. The one that burnt more calories building it than riding it. With a pro mode that almost gave Mum a hernia.
Crikey!
So sell it on eBay and buy walking boots instead to gently stride into the countryside. No lycra necessary. Life comes together when you buy, sell, eBay.
A good sidekick helps wherever they can.
I got your back, pal.
So when Barclaycard launched a new program of videos, tips and tools to help you use credit with confidence, it sounded like a job for a sidekick. Discover how using a credit card can help protect your online purchases, help you plan for the unexpected, and even help build your credit score. Get credit confident. Search Barclaycard Sidekicks. 21.9% APR representative. Variable T's and C's apply.
At Kia, our electric crossover range is available today and comes with the first 3 services free, with 4.9% representative APR finance until the end of December. There's the all-new Soul EV or the Kia Niro with a range of up to 282 miles on a single charge. And that's not all. Our range of hybrids come with 0% APR until the end of December too. So, stop wondering and start driving. Search Kia to find out more. 0% APR available over 24 months with minimum 20% deposit. Kia Finance. Range based on test conditions and may vary.
Game day this Saturday.
Liverpool versus West Ham.
Fornals finishes 2-0 to West Ham.
Coverage from 5:15, kickoff 5:30 on TalkSport.
Official broadcast partner of the Premier League. On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker. This is TalkSport 2 Live.
Very good evening to you. This is Russ Williams, 10 to 7, half-time at Krasnodar. It's the home side 0, Chelsea 1, Callum Hudson-Odoi with the only goal of the half. Chelsea fairly lacklustre as well. Frank Lampard will be looking for more in the second half. It's coming up for you here on TalkSport 2. Some Champions League news for you. Scotland will have an extra side in the competition next season. The winners of the Scottish Premiership will enter in the third qualifying round, and the runners-up will start in the round before. The Scottish Cup winners will go into the Europa League qualifiers, and the third and fourth place teams in the league will enter the second qualifying round for the new Europa Conference League. That news just breaking today. Oh, what a game we've got coming up for you at 8.
Ronaldo! What a goal that is! Out of nothing, 30 yards out. Juventus have 2 of the 3 they need. What a goal from Lionel Messi! That is simply sublime, simply sensational. What a goal that is from Pablo Dybala, and Juve are back in the game. Now Coutinho, that's it, game, set, match Barcelona.
Yes, the second of our 2 live Champions League games for you this evening. We're in Turin. Juventus against Barcelona, coming off a defeat, of course, in El Clasico at the weekend. David Connolly and Ian Dante are going to be your commentary team for that. Kicks off at 8 o'clock. Dance joins me now. Looking forward to this one, Dance.
Most definitely, Russ. There's always a big story when Juve play Barcelona, but of course most of the stories surrounding this game are taking place off the field of play because of what's happened with Barcelona, as we mentioned on TalkSport 2 last night, with the entire board resigning after a vote of no confidence from the club's supporters. So Barcelona are most certainly in limbo, 12th in La Liga, losing El Clasico at the weekend and travelling to the Old Lady this evening. But Juventus have got problems of their own. They are unbeaten under Andrea Pirlo, their new coach, but there are 3 draws in amongst that unbeaten run, including at the weekend against Verona, and there's a bit of a defensive crisis for Andrea Pirlo to have to negotiate. We don't have the Juventus team quite yet, but I can give you the Barcelona side. 5 changes from that 3-1 defeat in El Clasico. Piqué is suspended and couldn't play anyway, and Coutinho picked up an injury in that game against Real, so he also misses out. The other players to drop out are Dest, the right back, Busquets in midfield, which is something of a surprise, and Ansu Fati, the young 17-year-old who's been getting so many goals already in his early Barcelona career. The players coming in are Sergio Roberto, Araujo, Pjanic, the former Juve midfielder, up against his old club very soon after moving. Griezmann and Dembele also coming in. So it may well be, Russ, that Barcelona will go 4-3-3 with Neto in goal, Sergio Roberto, Araujo, Longley and Alba in a back 4, Pedri, Pjanic and De Jong as 3 in midfield, and Griezmann and Dembele either side of Messi, or maybe Griezmann through the middle and Messi to the right. Still waiting for the Juventus team to drop, Russ, but we know that Chiellini and De Ligt are out injured at the back, and there's also a question mark over whether Leonardo Bonucci is going to be fit enough to play for the Old Lady this evening. If that's the case, the most experienced player they'll have out there at the back is Danilo, the former Manchester City right back come right wing back come centre half. But we'll wait for that team to drop. We know for certain that Cristiano Ronaldo cannot play because of the positive COVID-19 test that was confirmed yesterday.
All right, thank you, Ian. Looking forward to that later on. David Connolly and Ian Dante with Juventus against Barcelona. I wonder how Lionel Messi is going to play tonight, given what's been happening off the pitch at the Camp Nou. His face at the end of El Clasico, he was disconsolate, to say the least. He's maybe the best player in the world, and you can hear him tonight here on TalkSport 2. Half-time over in Russia, and Chelsea are leading.
Utkin got the better of Havertz, and he will make his way towards the edge of the area, and he gets a left-footed shot in, which Mendy dives down to his right-hand side and got a strong enough palm to help on its way past for a corner. Vanderup's gone down, and he's won a penalty. It's a hop and a skip, and Jorginho's missed it, and on the rebound, Timo Werner's effort is blocked, and it was a penalty that hit the inside of the post. Goalkeeper had committed himself. It came back off the post, hit the goalkeeper, and bounced to safety. Ziyech into the feet of Havertz. Havertz turning around the corner. Hudson-Odoi with a shot, and it's in. Horrible moment for the goalkeeper, Safanov. Hudson-Odoi with a routine shot. He should have been saved, but he's gone right through the young Russian. And Chelsea have the advantage 8 minutes before half-time.
Well, by no means a perfect playing performance by Chelsea, but it's a score that matters, and they are leading by a 0-0. Jim Proudfoot, your match commentator, will take you through the second half with Danny Mills. Quick question for you, Danny. Frank Lampard, I guess, would have given them a bit of a talking to. Tell them to love the ball a little bit more and don't give it away as much, and try and get an early second goal and be on the front foot.
Yeah, definitely. And that all comes from attitude, hard work and sharpness. It's amazing, even in training sessions, if you're running around and you're sprinting around, it sharpens your mind, it gives you a focus. So then when you get the ball, you've got that sharpness, you've got that focus. If you're just ambling around, plodding here, there and everywhere, when you get the ball, you're still in that frame of mind. So it's like, come on, lads, we're 1-0 up, we're lucky to be in this situation. Go out and really put this team to the sword.
Chelsea are winning after the first half of football plus time added on. They would love 3 points tonight. They're halfway there. Second half now with Danny Mills and Jim Proudfoot.
Halfway there and living on a prayer at times, Chelsea, but they do have the lead, courtesy of that Callum Hudson-Odoi goal 8 minutes before half-time. And they have possession as well from the kickoff. They're playing in their predominantly pink kits with the dark blue trim, and they're kicking from right to left in this second period. No sign of any changes being made at half-time by either team. I'll run through the two sets of personnel for you very shortly. Chelsea have it inside their own half. They're kicking from right to left as Danny Mills and me, Jim Proudfoot, look at the pictures on our screens at our London base as the ball is played for. Hudson-Odoi's offside. Chelsea lining up Mendy in goal. Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Zuma and Chilwell. Kovacic and Jorginho. Ziyech, Havertz and Hudson-Odoi. And Werner up front. Krasnodar, Safanov in goal. Smolikov, Martinovic, Kao and Chernov. Then Olsen, Utkin, Gazinski, Vilhena and Ramirez. And Berg, who's suffered from a lack of service, plays up front. The ball has gone out of play for what Azpilicueta was convinced was a throw to Chelsea. It's been given the other way to Krasnodar. And it's a throw which will be taken on the left-hand touchline. And a long one to be launched inside the penalty area by the fullback Evgeny Chernov, who signed recently from Rostov. High ball inside the penalty area. Gazinski looking for the flick, which wasn't forthcoming. Utkin's going to be able to pick it up and lay it back for Smolnikov on the right-hand side. Former Zenit St. Petersburg man working it forward. Christopher Olsen and Smolnikov just leaving it for each other for a moment, and then Olsen taking responsibility. This is all around the edge of the penalty area, and a shout from Mendy was ignored by Azpilicueta seemingly. It was going to drift out of play and out of play for a goal kick. And it looked as though Mendy gave him a shout, and there's a few strong words going on between the pair of them as Azpilicueta decided he was going to play it. And Mendy caught it, but only after it had gone over the line. This is a cheap concession of a corner, which is going to be taken on the Krasnodar left-hand side. 2.5 minutes into the second half here on TalkSport 2. Opportunity for Chernov to work it inside the box. Kao and Martinovic are both forward. Corner's been worked short. Olsen chipping it inside the area, and the flick header from Utkin goes over the bar. 47 gone, Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 1. And these are the thoughts of the former World Cup defender, Danny Mills.
Well, Chelsea so far, we've talked about it many times, have got away with it so far in this game. They've been well under par for the sort of standards that you would expect from them. And Krasnodar, I think now, they started off the game and it looked like they were not in awe, but too respectful of Chelsea. That's gone out the window, and it's like they believe they can get back into this.
Have possession with Hudson-Odoi. Just been forced back through the midfield by Smolnikov. And out of it played forward towards Havertz, and Havertz can turn and run at the heart of the back line, lays it out towards his right-hand side. High ball worked inside the penalty area looking for Werner. Havertz to Kovacic, who's driven it wide from 22, 23 yards out. Wasn't too far wide, and the goalkeeper Safanov was scrambling across his line very quickly. Kovacic couldn't hit the target.
Didn't quite catch it sweetly, caught it off the end of his toe, just dragged it wide, but game's starting to open up already.
Krasnodar worked the ball forward. It was too far ahead of Ramirez, who then went to ground, but he's just gone through towards Edouard Mendy. Chelsea unbeaten in 7 games in all competitions, although the last 3 have all been drawn. And if they can hold on to the victory in this game, they'll have 4 points from their 2 matches. Still with a double-header to come against Rennes, they'll be very handily placed to be able to get out of the group. Only failed to get out on 2 of the 16 previous Champions League campaigns. They've actually won the group on 11 occasions out of the 14 in which they have qualified. Chilwell sliding in, losing possession for a moment to Marcus Berg. Kovacic is able to be industrious and get in there and nick it back. Mendy plays it forward. Zuma looking a little bit awkward as he controlled it inside his own penalty area. Goes back for Mendy, who's only just squeezed it between the 2 nearest Krasnodar players. He's got it safe. Werner playing it forward towards the other end for Hudson-Odoi. Coming back to cover is Smolnikov, and he's been fouled by Hudson-Odoi. But Mendy, as Chelsea were playing out from the back, has squeezed it through the eye of a needle. And had he got it wrong by an inch or 2, either way, the other way, and Krasnodar would have been clean through on goal and a chance for 1-1.
That was eye of the needle stuff that touched the sides, didn't it? I mean, there was no room for error at all, and it almost was. I have to say, I think it was fortunate. I don't think he meant that in any way, shape or form. Not quite sure we're seeing.
We're just seeing a replay of an earlier incident as the ball's played forward to Callum Hudson-Odoi, just showing that he was onside as the ball was played. In fact, it's a replay of the goal. And there was a long VAR inspection before the goal. We're just only now seeing it, how far that they've worked it back for Hudson-Odoi just, and I mean just, being onside. That's a 3D lines being drawn down from the armpit, but in the original phase of players, he linked up long before his shot.
Went a long way back though, didn't they, Jim, for that? You know, to see how far they went back. I mean, the ball went backwards after that. I thought that once the ball went backwards, it was then a new phase of play.
But the officials came up, conjured up the right decision, ultimately. Smolnikov taking the throw for Krasnodar down the right-hand touchline. The Russians in their all black kit with the yellow socks and the yellow trim, and they've won a corner as Jorginho sliding in, couldn't keep the ball on the iron. It's 2 quick corners at the beginning of this second half taken by Krasnodar. Jorginho had controlled it, was looking to play out from the back down the left-hand side of the penalty area and just slipped. Smolnikov, as the corners work short, plays it back for Olsen. He's offside. And it's a free kick that'll be taken by Chelsea in their left-back position. 7 gone second half. Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 1 on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, cardinal sin that. Actually, he couldn't have been offside. He was off the pitch. Equally, he shouldn't be off the pitch, and he should have to ask permission to come back on. So I think, again, the officials get that right, just from where he was. But you shouldn't be offside when you're looking along the line, in that way. But the game has opened up, I think, a little bit in the second half. I think Krasnodar have come out and thought, you know what, we can have a little bit more of a go, and I think that's just raised the tempo of both sides. And as I said, it's a much more open than it was.
Yeah, it's a better spectacle for it. Here's Ramirez, left-hand side of the box, getting it away from Azpilicueta. Jorginho sliding in, poked back over the top. Chilwell will let it bounce and claim with justification that he's gone over the line and out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Edouard Mendy. Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 1, but certainly more of a defensive inspection being offered by the hosts now, and Chelsea have had some more questions to answer. This is, as we've been saying, Krasnodar's first home game in the Champions League in their history. Ziyech flights a high ball in over the top, and it's, if anything, taken away by Hudson-Odoi. He was waiting for Chilwell to bring it under control. And as it's dropped over his shoulder, he's actually nutmegged Chilwell with it and put it out of play for a goal kick.
Total lack of communication. You know, it's the old you go, me go. You know, to me, to you, and no one does anything, and it goes out of play. It just needs someone to take control of the situation for Chelsea all over the pitch.
Chelsea have a player down hurt. I think it's Chilwell potentially. Play goes on as it's worked forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Played in by Ramirez towards the edge of the box. It's Kaczynski, and it's deflected away over the bar by Zuma. And then the Chelsea players surround the Turkish referee and say the play should have stopped because of the head injury upfield. It was coming together involving Chilwell and Smolnikov, both players with eyes on the ball. Just a little clash between the pair of them. Chilwell went down holding his mouth, and the referee, who was well placed, said play on.
We've just seen the replay of that. The referee had the perfect view. I'm not convinced that was a head injury. You know, there was a bit of shoulder into chest. He might have just smudged his lip gloss, you know, as his finger wiped across his lip. That's about it.
High ball swung in from the corner and volleyed onto the bar. Back into the fray. Half-headed clear. Smolnikov can't get in there, neither can Kaczynski. And ultimately, when the whistle goes, it's a free kick to Chelsea inside their own penalty area for a foul on Kurt Zouma. But that was close as it just came down. Kaczynski leaning back on the hard volley, and he smacked it off the frame of the goal.
He's dug it into the ground. He's not caught it cleanly. And it's one of those that is, as it hits the ground, it then loops up over the top of Mendy, who might have just got there had it dipped underneath the crossbar. And as the second one came in, I'm not convinced that's a foul either. I think it's Mendy and Zuma that collide. I don't think the Krasnodar captain had an awful lot to do with any of that. Again, Chelsea very, very fortunate.
Well, it's like domino toppling inside the 6-yard box, wasn't it? As the ball came in, and then all of a sudden,
he's in a bad way here, though, Jim.
From a central point, players just went down all over the place. It was a very hefty coming together. Mendy's hurt, but he's not the worst one of the four of them by any stretch of the imagination. As we just see another replay of Kaczynski's effort, which came back off the bar, and then the coming together as Mendy made the initial contact with Zuma, and then Zuma, having been pushed back, was pushed into the nearest Krasnodar player, and there was a clash of heads.
As he's landed, Jim, are they looking at his shoulder? Looking at his arm in that situation? Because from the initial contact, it didn't look too much, look like it was a big clash of heads. I mean, he's up, he's been pulled up by his arms. I'm assuming it's not that hurts. I mean, he's a big, strong lad, Zuma. It takes an awful lot to put him down. But it comes in again, we just see the corner. I mean, Chelsea don't deal with the first one. It loops up, and then it's just, it's all over the place. Might be a little bit of almost whiplash, as he gets a little, possibly, he gets a nudge from his own goalkeeper, Mendy, and then he gets a nudge in the back from the Krasnodar captain, and I think it might just have rocked his neck a little bit.
Yeah, he was going backwards, wasn't he, after the initial touch. Feet off the ground as he'd gone for the aerial. Mendy's fine. He's going to be able to continue. I think Zuma is as well. They're warming Tomori up just on the off chance that the Zuma can't continue. But I think that the lengthy delay was probably just out of protocol, just to make sure that he was fine, there was no concussion. He's going to be able to continue. So we're 12 minutes into the second half. Now it's Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 1 on TalkSport 2. But a more open start, as Danny's been saying, to this second half. A better spectacle as a result of that. And Chelsea already have seen enough of the opening 12 minutes of the second half to know that they haven't won it yet. Zuma comes back on. Mendy from the free kick which restarted play. Shanked it straight over the touchline out of play for a Krasnodar throw. From that, Tony Vilhena lost it. Werner very quickly dispossessed. Martinovic controls it and plays it back to his goalkeeper. Safanov chips it out towards the Krasnodar left-hand side. And Chernov rides the first challenge and can bring it forward. Plays it out towards Ramirez, the Ecuadorian, back through the midfield. Berg with a little chest trap, trying to get Utkin into play. Chelsea clear their lines. Back it comes from Kaya, the centre-half, straight to Jorginho. Havertz does well, knocks it between two black shirts and played through the midfield by Ziyech. Ziyech in towards Werner. And Werner is involved in a clash between two players. Play goes on, Timo Werner's got it. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Ziyech back out towards Ben Chilwell. Chilwell getting towards the byline. Left-footed ball fired in from him. Takes a bounce and should be cleared easily through the penalty area by Ramirez. And still Krasnodar have a player down holding his head, who should now be able to get treatment as Marcus Berg stops play. Well, we're 14 minutes into the second half, and welcome again to listeners from TalkSport. Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 1 is the score. And Callum Hudson-Odoi's goal 8 minutes before half-time. Still the difference between the two sides after a first half in which Chelsea certainly weren't great. Goalkeeping error playing a major part in the goal, and Jorginho had missed a penalty before that. But Danny Mills is alongside me as live commentary continues on TalkSport 2. It's been a better performance yet from Krasnodar at the start of the second half. They've hit the bar, and they're asking some pretty pertinent questions now.
I think they've had the team talk at half-time and said, look, you were too respectful of Chelsea in the first half. Chelsea are not playing well. Certainly not up to the sort of standards that you'd expect. And I think now it seems like Krasnodar feel they've got a really good chance of getting back into this. And again, as they were in the first half, I think they've been the better side in the second half.
If you download the TalkSport app, you can flick between TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Just swipe left, swipe right with ease, and you can keep abreast of what's going on. On TalkSport 2 tonight, we've got a double bill of Champions League action with Juventus against Barcelona to come with Ian Danta and David Connolly in a game that kicks off at 8 o'clock. We've got half an hour to go. Played exactly an hour of this one. Chelsea's certainly not there yet. Is Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 1. And Krasnodar will bring it forward with Ramirez chasing down the left. Rudiger coming across, sweeps up and puts it out of play for a throw that will be taken on the left flank down by the corner flag. Half an hour to go. Half an hour for Chelsea to try and protect what will be a third successive clean sheet. But Chernov has the ball in his hands, preparing to take this long throw from down by the corner flag inside the penalty area. 3 steps forward, arches the back, hurls it in, header away, then followed by a touch from Ziyech. Vilhena will try and pick it up. It gets towards the bar. He's done really well, Tony Vilhena, trying to get a cross in, flights it inside the penalty area. Zuma heads it away, and the resulting volley from the edge of the D from Chernov goes over the bar.
Krasnodar really starting to grow in belief now, putting Chelsea under some serious pressure. I mean, now lead in terms of attempts on target, lead attempts overall as well. Chelsea just haven't got any answers at the moment. And looking around their team and just thinking, where are their leaders? Where's that leader in the middle of the midfield? That player to get hold of the game, either calm things down or up the tempo.
Mendy works it forward. Havertz flicks it on. And Timo Werner try and turn it knocked away by Smolnikov. Chelsea's bench, let me remind you: Christensen, Kante, Abraham, Pulisic, Tomori, Giroud, Mount, James and Emerson. Those are the 9 outfield players that Frank Lampard can call upon. He's got Caballero and the youngster Carlos Ziga there if he needs to replace Mendy. 17 minutes into the second period. Krasnodar's injury problems are such that they've only got 5 outfield players on their bench rather than the 9 that they are entitled to. It is 1-0 to Chelsea, and as things stand, they would be top of the group with 4 points. Krasnodar would be bottom with 1. Kayo, the centre-half, sweeps up, heads it back to his goalkeeper. In the first half, in terms of possession, it was 74-26 Chelsea. Second half, it's 62-38 Chelsea, and Krasnodar have had 4 of the 5 attempts since half-time. Haven't hit the target with any of them. Chelsea have just had 1 isolated off-target effort in this second half so far.
But that possession, Jim, for Chelsea in the second half is possession going nowhere, isn't it? That's the problem for them. Whereas I would say the possession for Krasnodar is effective possession in the opposition's half.
And the fact that Krasnodar have had more of it in the second half is a byproduct of the scoreline, of course, but nevertheless, we talked about in the first half about it being an unconvincing performance from Chelsea, and there's been no huge improvement really. I think Murad Musayev, the Krasnodar-born manager of his hometown team, who was only appointed back in June, will be thrilled really with what he's seen. It'll be a source of good encouragement for him ahead of the match days 3, 4, 5 and 6. The last game in the Champions League group is at Stamford Bridge. That's how Chelsea conclude their campaign at home to Krasnodar. Ball is with Christopher Olsen in the midfield. A lot of the play when Krasnodar have it is in and around the edge of the Chelsea penalty area now. It's Utkin will try and turn and then try to buy a challenge from Kovacic, and succeeded in doing that. It was a good turn. And Kovacic just dived in. It didn't look as though he really dangled out a leg, but Utkin maybe just leant into him, made the contact. Might have been a little bit going the other way, but it is a free kick to Krasnodar and a good set-piece opportunity for them.
Unnecessary from Kovacic. Didn't need to make that challenge. And if you dangle a leg and you don't get near the ball, you know the player's going to go down in this day and age. It's a good angle. You know, it's level with the 6-yard box, 25 yards out, enough space to get it up and down over the wall, and also the angle means that he can go either corner. So Mendy's going to have to be really on his toes if he hits the target.
3, 4 Chelsea players in the wall. Kovacic stands to the right-hand edge of the wall.
That near post is begging, Jim, isn't it? There's a big hole over top of that wall.
Well, Mendy stood shoulder to post, making sure he got it in the right place. In it comes, in towards that area. The quartet in the wall did its job, and then as it comes back out to Utkin again, he sliced it well wide. But it did look as though the angle was there for a left-footer to bend it over the wall in towards the near post. That's what he tried to do, but he just didn't get the elevation. It came back out to him. It was a really poor effort. And it's a goal kick which will be taken by Chelsea. It's another nervy little moment successfully survived. Mendy's in dialogue with the referee, who I think was just keeping him honest and trying to stop him time wasting. That's probably the warning for Edouard Mendy. Chelsea will play out from the back again. We're almost midway through the second half here on TalkSport 2, where live European football continues at 8 o'clock. Juventus home to Barcelona with Dancing Day to Connolly. And then tomorrow night it's Spurs in Belgium away to Antwerp, and Matt Holland's alongside me for that one. At 5:55 tomorrow on TalkSport 2, the build-up starting at 5. Havertz can bring it forward now for Chelsea, running from inside his own half. He's able to cover a lot of ground. 40 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, and to his right-hand side. Promising from Ziyech, and the shot is straight at the goalkeeper.
Really promising move. Great run from Havertz. Straight through the middle. Drives at people. Opens it up. Gives it to Ziyech on his left foot. Unconvincing with a shot. He's leaning back, doesn't really get through that shot. I mean, when you saw him do that at Ajax, he'd have chest over the ball and then he'd whip it into the far corner.
Here's Ramirez at the other end. Marcus Berg, the angle is tight. Mendy makes a save, pouring it away at the near post, and it's cleared by Tony Rudiger in front of him. But the chances are coming with increased regularity now. Shot on target at either end in the space of 30 seconds. Krasnodar work it back inside the box. Goes all the way through past everybody. Picked up by Smolnikov. Smolnikov's ball forward. Clever little 1-2. Smolnikov chipping it in towards the near post. And Mendy's come across to catch it. As it gone out of play, it's been given as a corner.
Yeah, it just came off Callum Hudson-Odoi. Great chance down the left-hand side. Berg took the wrong option for me. Should have cut it back. Went for the near post. Very unlikely to score from that tight angle. Almost impossible. I think you've just got to drive that across the 6-yard box and hope that one of your players or a Chelsea defender gets a deflection into his own net.
Home crowd delighted with what they've seen in the last 10 minutes. Olsen's corner's headed away. Ramirez down for Tony Vilhena just outside the Chelsea penalty area. The Blues still lead by a goal to nil. Vilhena ultimately is put under enough pressure by Werner that he can't keep control, and it's gone out of play for a Chelsea throw. Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 1. Just going back to Ziyech. His goal scoring record when he was at Ajax was really good. scored in that Champions League semi-final against Tottenham. And all told in his career, he's got 96 goals in less than 300 games, which from the position that he plays is a really good return. But
I just wonder if
didn't hit it with any conviction, did he?
If it's a confidence thing, you know, his touch wasn't perfect. He's then leaning backwards, so therefore he can't quite get the power, he can't quite get the accuracy. Now, a confident player struts forward, chest over the ball, and fires it into the far corner.
Chelsea have possession in Krasnodar territory. They're going to make a change shortly. They'll make 5 in these Champions League games. And it's Christian Pulisic, I think, is being ready. Zuma will play it down to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta taking on, getting away from Utkin, working it forward through the space. When Chelsea get the ball into Krasnodar territory now, they're finding more space in their half of the field. Kovacic trying to capitalise on some here. Ziyech taking over as Kovacic played it back to him. Chilwell now, left-footed ball in from Ben Chilwell, trying to find Werner, half-headed clear, out towards Havertz on the right-hand side of the penalty. He worked in by Azpilicueta, but he couldn't find Havertz, and it just takes a slight deflection and goes into the hands of the goalkeeper. And Safanov will be able to play out from the back with 20 minutes to go, and Chelsea leading 1-0.
Much better game in the second half, a lot livelier, much more open as well, which you would think should suit Chelsea, but still only 4 attempts on target in the whole game.
Ramirez comes back out to the left-hand touchline. It's just a foul there by Azpilicueta, and it's a free kick which will be taken out on the left-hand touchline by Krasnodar. Azpilicueta got a couple of goals in the group stages last season. Chelsea going to make a triple change. Jorginho, who missed that penalty, is the first player who's going to be coming off, and N'Golo Kanté is coming on to replace him. He's not been at his best tonight, Jorginho, aside from that penalty miss. Kanté coming on to replace Jorginho, the first of the 3 changes being made with 20 minutes to go. Pulisic coming on as well, and so too Mason Mount. So Kanté, Pulisic and Mount, the 3 coming on for Chelsea. And Jorginho the first off. Kovacic has come off as well, and still just waiting for clarification as to the third of the Chelsea players that has been withdrawn. So Frank Lampard ringing the changes. Free kick played inside the area. It's Hudson-Odoi who's also made way. Vilhena played out towards the right-hand side, looking for Smolikov. He can't find him. One back by the full-back, who was judged to have been fouled there by Mason Mount. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Krasnodar on their right-hand side. Chelsea leading 1-0 with 19 to go.
Change of formation, slightly. Little bit of a tweak. I think Kanté perhaps play what we would all assume is his best position in that holding role on his own. You know, Mount a little bit further forward of that. Pulisic has come to the left-hand side. Ziyech remains on the right. Havertz and Mount sort of in the middle, you know, in front of N'Golo Kanté.
Yeah, it looks that way at the moment. Mount is herring after Gazinski, who's got possession inside the centre circle. And it's worked out towards the far touchline, which is the Chelsea right, and goes innocuously out of play, and Azpilicueta will just waste a few seconds. Almost 4-1 really for Chelsea now, with the Kanté
they've gone
sitting back, sitting tight.
Yeah, they've gone from 2 sitting midfield players to just the one, N'Golo Kanté, haven't they? Who effectively is as good as 2 anyhow.
Hasn't had too many opportunities of late. The player who's never scored in Europe. Played for by Rudiger. Out to the Chelsea right-hand side, where a rash challenge comes in from Ramirez.
How's that not a foul?
I really don't know. Chelsea end up with a throw. Should have had a free kick. It's Danny alluded to. Here's Vilhena. Azpilicueta trying to stop him finding his way forward. Ramirez back into the feet of Vilhena. Kanté, just with an economy of effort, laying it back out towards Azpilicueta. Neatly done. Zuma to Rudiger. And now Rudiger will turn and almost turn into trouble with Marcus Berg closing him down, but he got it away from the former PSV and Hamburg striker, veteran of 230 career goals, and played it back to his goalkeeper. A little bit heavy, the pass from Mendy out towards the touchline, but Rudiger scampered after it and kept it in. Chilwell plays it forward, and now it goes out of play for a throw. Hudson-Odoi is just having a big ice pack being put on his left thigh. So that is just being strapped to him now.
I suggest that was a knock, Jim. Possibly a knee in the thigh, more of a dead leg.
Krasnodar make their first change. Utkin coming off, and he's replaced by Shapi Suleimanov, who is a perennial substitute for Krasnodar, off the bench for the 13th time already this season. He's a winger. He's come on to replace Utkin. That means that Olsen can come into a more central position in the midfield. Chelsea will be able to bring it away. Havertz out to the right-hand side. This is better from Chelsea, bringing forward Ziyech, almost able to play it into Pulisic, who does get a shot in. Big appeals for handball, and it is a penalty again to Chelsea. And the referee will come across and show the yellow card to Martinovic. And Chelsea have the chance to all but make the game safe. And Pulisic involved in the action. His first contribution to win that penalty is he had a right-footed shot, and it's hit Martinovic, it's hit his thigh, bounced back up and hit his arm.
I don't think it's a penalty.
In the Premier League, that isn't given as a penalty. In the modification that we've had in Europe, all bets are off. The ball hits your hand or your arm, you're going to have a penalty given against you. Jorginho missed one in the first half. He's now off, and it's Timo Werner who's going to take this if the VAR concurs that it is a penalty. Now, welcome to listeners joining us on Talk Sport as for the second time tonight, Chelsea have the opportunity with a penalty out of nothing. Timo Werner will take this one. Jorginho missed the one in the first half, has gone off. He's just been substituted off. This is for a handball by Martinovic, and Werner will hit it and puts it into the bottom left-hand corner. Chelsea 2 goals to the good. A day when they haven't been convincing by any stretch of the imagination. The goals from Hudson-Odoi and now Werner from the spot have given them a 2-0 lead.
It's a really good penalty. He just goes for power. It's not too far off centre. The goalkeeper can't react quick enough because it's just too hard. He thunders it into the back of there. I think the penalty is very, very harsh. That's not being given in the Premier League. As the shot from Pulisic comes in, it hits the defender's thigh, bounces up onto his arm. You can't argue that it stops it going goalwards. That is a clear fact, but that is not given in the Premier League.
And to add insult to injury, he got a yellow card.
Yeah, which I don't understand, because if it comes off your thigh from that distance, and it was still very, very close to him, there's no way that's intentional, is it?
So Martinovic in the book, Werner on the score sheet. He's scored 8 Champions League goals now in his career, and all 8 have come away from home. Chelsea leading 2-0, 14 minutes to go.
Frank will be thinking, great, job done, let's just get out of here. Let's keep a clean sheet, get out of here with a 2-0 win, get back on that plane, get back to Cobham tomorrow and restart ready for the weekend.
Chelsea in action away at Burnley the weekend, and then it's Rennes at home on match day 3 in the Champions League next week. Kante playing the ball back inside his own half for Kurt Zouma.
I think I'll be there next week, Jim. I'll be there for Talk Sport. I think we've got a round the grounds, Chelsea versus Rennes that evening. Hope the first half's a bit more exciting. Be cold sat outside.
Here's N'Golo Kanté with the switcher play, finding Ben Chilwell. 13 minutes to go, and it is Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 2. Werner chasing a ball that's played forward, and the goalkeeper, who's looked a bag of nerves at times tonight, just got it out of harm's way.
What's he doing? I mean, he's a goalkeeper. You can use your hands. Did he not make Werner there? Well, tried to. It's like as he chopped the ball back inside. I don't know why he just didn't dive on the ball.
And then as he went through to Caio, the centre half, it ended up at his feet, put him under all kinds of pressure in a central position 18 yards out. He just got it clear, and then they had the inquest. Mendy at the other end takes a cross that was intended for the fullback Smolnikov. comes out and claims it cleanly. Now, he's not too far away from his 4th clean sheet in 5 games in Chelsea colours. 2-0 to Chelsea.
He's an athletic goalkeeper, isn't he? I mean, he comes for a lot of crosses. You know, anything that comes into the box above head height, he's coming for.
I think there's a lot to like about it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's very, very positive.
Kante forward for Havertz. Havertz has got movement to his right-hand side. Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta's continued his run. Shot that comes in, takes a deflection. The overhead kick was completely missed in the end by Pulisic, who puts his hands up by way of apology. But he was just trying to wheel away and do something very dramatic at the far post, and he's completely missed it. We are, as the goalkeeper just turns away, does a Cruyff turn to get away from Pulisic inside the penalty area. The World Series baseball finished yesterday. Finished, unfortunately, with the wrong team winning, depending on your loyalties, but well, that was a real swing and a miss from Pulisic. Here inside the penalty area, Werner trying to make something happen, and the shot goes in for 3-0. Beautifully taken. Hakim Ziyech scores his first Chelsea goal, and the Blues are 3 up with 10 minutes to go. And the tension eased considerably with 2 and a 4-minute spell. Ziyech picking it up inside the penalty area, keeping his feet, and picking out the bottom right-hand corner.
That's the Ziyech that we know. That's the one that we saw at Ajax. He tried a little turn, sort of let it through his legs, little back heel, gets it back onto his left foot. Couple of touches, just pushing it to the side to make room for himself. Fires it towards the far corner. It's a tiny little deflection, but I don't think that makes a huge difference. Really good player and good finish from Ziyech.
His 9th Champions League goal. Chelsea 3 up. Now that's his last contribution. He comes off. He's replaced by Tammy Abraham. There's a big embrace with Abraham, another with Frank Lampard, and then a high five with Jody Morris on his way past. And Emerson has also come on to replace Ben Chilwell. So a triple change on the 70-minute mark, a double change on the 80. Chelsea have made their substitutions now. Now with 10 minutes to go, they lead by 3-0, but that is a scoreline that doesn't begin to tell the story of the game.
No, it's very, very flattering, isn't it? You know, when you think, oh, Chelsea 3-0, that was very, very comfortable. Well, it hasn't been up until, 75 minutes or so. You know, it's only in the last 5 minutes that, since they got the penalty, that they've started to look anywhere near but comfortable. But I think, in all credit to Frank, what he will say is, look, okay, we didn't play well, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we keep a clean sheet and we've won the game, and that's all that we need to do. And we're building, we're learning, and I'm pretty sure that's the sort of line that he will come out with after the game. But he will be disappointed, I think, with a lot of the performances tonight.
Well, it's the same old story for sides facing English opposition in their first home game. The last 8 have all lost. The last to avoid defeat, actually, in their first ever home Champions League match when they played against an English team was Cluj, who got a draw against Chelsea back in 2008. The last to win, Stuttgart, who beat Manchester United on their home Champions League bout. That was 17 years ago. Another change for Krasnodar. Olsen, who's been suffering with illness over the course of the last week or so, replaced by Spurzian, who only made his full debut at the weekend, the 20-year-old, and he's making his European debut tonight. And just his 4th senior appearance. Night for him to remember. And a decent night for Chelsea in terms of the result. But they'll have to play better than this over the course of the rest of the European campaign. They will be able to. They will play better than this over the course of the European campaign. Ball is played out to the substitute Suleimanov. Suleimanov works it very briskly back to his goalkeeper, gets it away from Tammy Abraham. Right-footed ball forward towards halfways, one back by N'Golo Kante, off balance, does well to get his forehead to it and flick it back for Zuma. Zuma 4 for Kante. Played out of the Chelsea right for Pulisic, who goes back for Azpilicueta. Back 4 narrowing off now for Chelsea and not showing any real intent to go forward. Here's Emerson down the left, playing to the feet of Timo Werner, who's drifted out to the left-hand side. Just got caught by Smolnikov. And it will be a throw to Krasnodar. Werner thought that he should have had a free kick, but it's a throw to Krasnodar. He's come out to the left now that Tammy Abraham has come on, and Abraham playing through the middle as you would expect. 7 to go. Chelsea 3-0 up.
It's good that Chelsea have lots of options, but I also think it's a little bit of a problem at the same sort of time, because players like routine. They like to know where they're playing. They like to know the formation. And, and because they all keep chopping and changing, it's almost like they can't get into their routine at the moment.
Havertz making his way forward for Chelsea. It could get better yet. He's just forced Pulisic wide. He will control it. Right-hand side of the area. Werner peeled away. Wanted the instant pullback. Pulisic used him as the decoy. Got a shot in, but the black shirts were back and could get it away. And Marcus Berg, the out ball, is the one that they played. And now Suleimanov will be able to bring it forward towards the halfway line. The other game going on at the same time as this one, incidentally. Başakşehir, who are in action at home to Manchester United next week. 2-0 down at home to PSG. And Moise Kean has got them both. Striker on loan from Everton. Inside the penalty area, Berg trying to tiptoe his way through. Couldn't quite set up Gazinski. And it's cleared easily by the Chelsea back line. And Smolnikov again. Smolnikov's 10 yards inside the Chelsea half. Wide from him to Shapi Suleimanov. Right-footed ball over the top from Gazinski. Brought down by Ramirez. Left-hand side of the Chelsea penalty area. Gets it onto his right foot. Gets the shot in. Little nick off a player on the way through, but Mendy can dive down to his near post and make a comfortable save. Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 3. As I mentioned, Başakşehir 0, PSG 2. And championship action as well tonight. One game already underway. It's at Deepdale. Preston against Millwall is still 0-0. They've played 35 minutes there. And the games at Birmingham, Bournemouth, Derby, Luton and Rotherham kicking off in about 10 minutes time or so. And over on TalkSport they've got news of them all as they go around the grounds of Hugh Wozencroft tonight. Here on TalkSport 2 at the conclusion of this game, we'll start the build-up to Juventus against Barcelona. And that one's live for you as well. Free kick won by Suleimanov. And it'll be taken quickly on the Krasnodar right-hand side in front of a crowd of shade over 10,500 tonight, which is all that they've been allowed to sell. It looks a magnificent stadium, a big bowl of a stadium, and the giant screens that they've got up are sort of integrated to make it look as though they're sort of built into the night sky. It's quite a beautiful looking arena.
Built a fabulous academy as well. The owner's very about organic growth, isn't he? And bringing through academy products. He's very obviously he's self-made, which is quite unusual for a Russian billionaire. Made his money through supermarkets. And he wants to support the local people of Krasnodar as much as possible.
Ball has gone out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Chelsea right, but only after another change has been made. And this time it's Leon Sabois who's going to come on for his European debut. He scored on his debut against Spartak Moscow at the weekend within seconds of his introduction. And he'll come on up front and replace Marcus Berg. He's got 5 goals in his last 10 games for the second team.
Some head of hair, that, isn't it? He looks like one of those little Lego men. It's like on the perfect. It's like jet black and the perfect little quiff.
Cliff Richards paid a lot of money to buy one of those. It's played down the left-hand side, allegedly. Played down the left-hand side past Emerson for a throw that will be taken on the Krasnodar right. Suleimanov working it back in. Gazinski to the edge of the penalty area. Runs away from Ramirez. Brought back down on the Krasnodar left. He's only 20. Now, if we can remember back, you and I, long enough to when we were...
I didn't have hair.
Certainly mine wasn't that colour, and nor was it as quite as expertly coiffured as Sabois, who they really rate. It's a good claim by Mendy as the ball comes in from the Krasnodar left. He's not that far away from that clean sheet. Just 1 goal conceded in his 5 Chelsea games up to this point. 2.5 to go. Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 3. Safanov getting it away. I just wonder how different a a night it might have transpired to be had that Safanov not thrown one in the closing stages of the first half. Chelsea with Azpilicueta finding Kante. Play back to the right-hand side of the midfield. Well, now Chelsea will be able to bring it forward again with Rudiger. Rudiger turns and lays it back for his goalkeeper. Mendy with time to take a touch, gets it away from the substitute and works it upfield. Headed back down into the heart of the midfield area. And Mason Mount can now drive forward here for Chelsea towards the edge of the box as Chelsea look for goal number 4. Mount laying it off. Emerson's first time ball in. Blocked by Smolnikov, and it'll ricochet out towards Suleimanov and be played forward through the midfield. Mount is in there to win it back. Mount challenged in the heart of the midfield by Spurtsian, who can bring it away. Just over a minute to go plus stoppage time. Spurtsian out to the Krasnodar left. Ramirez faced up by Azpilicueta, drops the shoulder. Azpilicueta just forces him back outside the box. Ramirez stuck to his task, got it in when other players might have gone down. But ultimately he's just passed it inside the penalty area for Mendy to claim. Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 3 with 89 on the clock.
Well, it's job done for Chelsea, isn't it? And I think that's all it is. That the first half was disappointing by their standards. Frank wouldn't have been happy. The second half's been much better from both teams, and I think that's partly down to the fact that Krasnodar upped the tempo, and that forced Chelsea to do exactly the same. But I think, as we expected, if two teams are going to work as hard as each other, the team with the better players, more quality, should come out on top, and that's what's happened this evening. Chelsea have got 3 points, from this tie, without playing particularly well.
Abraham played inside the area. Pulisic, and there is goal number 4. And he's beaten Safanov at his near post. Some icing on the cake for Chelsea, who are 4-0 up going into stoppage time. Goal made by one substitute and scored by the other. Christian Pulisic giving Chelsea a 4-0 lead, and they'll be top of the group. Play 2, 4 points, 4 goals, and conceded none.
It's a decent shot from Pulisic. It's gone straight through the goalkeeper at his near post, though. Good touch out of his feet from Pulisic on the turn. Goes through the goalkeeper's legs. I thought it went in at the near post. He has to save that. Champions League goalkeeper. Two this evening where he's really cost his team, unfortunately for him, Safanov.
Well, that's not his worst mistake of the night. It would be his worst mistake on many other nights. They just came off the inside as he's trying to save a shot from his left-hand side. Came off the inside of his right thigh and went in. And Chelsea hungry for more. Abraham into the feet on the edge of the penalty area. Emerson almost able to get a shot in, and it's hammered away. Krasnodar breathing really heavily now. They've had absolutely no answer to Chelsea's attacking cavalry in the last 15 minutes. There have been 3 goals in the final quarter of an hour here. And I think if as we're in stoppage time with 2.5 minutes to go, if Chelsea had another 10 minutes to play, they could easily end up winning this 6.
I think Mount and Pulisic have made a difference since they've come on. They've come on and they've looked sharp. They've been energetic. They've added in a huge injection of pace into Chelsea's attack.
Smolnikov concedes a corner, which is actually Chelsea's first of this second half. Werner spotting it down, taking it quickly. Emerson firing it in. Headed clear. Kyle getting it away for Kurt Zouma. Havertz back towards Zouma again. Got it away from Sabwa. Conte chipping it over the top out to the right-hand side of the penalty area. And Abraham had done well. He just peeled away. And Pulisic so frustrated as he played what was nearly the perfect cutback for him. But Kaya read it and could just stick out a foot and steer it to safety. Otherwise, Abraham would have had a glorious opportunity for goal number 5.
Pulisic got into a great position. Delightful little chip over the top into the space from N'Golo Conte. As Pulisic went to cut it back, it hits Kayo, the defender, and then you get the double ricochet. Came back, hit Pulisic, and out harmlessly for the goal kick.
90 seconds left for Krasnodar to get a consolation. Suleimanov making his way forward, and Mason Mount judged to have fouled him by the Turkish referee. So one last set-piece opportunity which Shapi Suleimanov will stand over. And a chance to try and work it inside the Chelsea penalty area to score this consolation goal. Plenty of pink and dark blue shirts back. The camera pans to Murad Musaf, the Krasnodar coach, who's standing there looking dejected, hands on hips. Notice there are so many positives from the performance of the scoreline's not one of them. Suleimanov goes to the near post, and Mendy diving across to that near post area. I don't know whether he just got a hand to it to help it round the post and out of play for a corner. He was going wide anyway. I think he just withdrew his hands in time.
Yeah, you're right, Jim. It's a clever idea. Try and go over the wall and get it down low at the near post. Mendy was scrambling across, but as you say, read it very, very well. Got his angles and distances perfectly right and just pulled his hands away at the last moment.
Mendy's long ball forward. Handed back by Zuma through the midfield. Picked up by Gazinski. Gazinski to Martinovic. Martinovic works it back for his goalkeeper, who certainly had a night to forget. But Chelsea have got the job done. They haven't been convincing for large swathes of that game, but when they made the substitutions, everything very quickly turned in their favour in the final 20 minutes. At that stage, they already led 1-0. Timo Werner then converted a penalty for 2-0 15 minutes from time. Ziyech and Pulisic both added further goals late in the game. Jorginho missed a penalty early on as well. The 4-0 scoreline makes it sound like the most convincing of victories. It certainly wasn't that. But Chelsea over the whole piece were the better team. And that's a big victory that will stand them in good stead for qualification out of the group yet again. This one's finished. Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 4.
Jim, thank you very much indeed. Job done. Danny Mills, a positive for Chelsea. 3 clean sheets in a row in all competitions.
Yeah, it is. You know, the scoreline certainly flatters Chelsea this evening. But I'm sure Frank will come out and say, look, OK, we didn't play particularly well, but we did what we had to do. They made it difficult for us. We kept a clean sheet. We scored 4 goals. You know, we brought on players as well that, you know, injected a little bit of pace and made a difference. But I think inside that dressing room, he will be a little bit harsher and a little bit more critical of his team.
The second goal was Chelsea's second penalty of the night. Timo Werner scored it, but, you know, in the Premier League, as you quite rightly said, you know, poor old Martinovic, you know, if he was playing in England, it went off his leg and onto his arms, nothing he could do about it. It wouldn't have been given, but in Europe, Danny, it's completely different.
Well, and this is sort of the strange anomalies that we have, isn't it? That, you know, the laws of football are the same all over the world. You know, that's the whole point of it. But there's different interpretations, and especially around sort of the new handball law. It's very, very confusing. You know, in Europe, it's been like that for quite a long time. You know, if it hits your hand, that's it. You know, we tried that at the start of the season in the Premier League, and it just didn't work, did it? You know, it was taken to the extreme. And it was just, you know, we were going to end up with, like, you know, hundreds of penalties, you know, during this season, and you can't have that. It was close to him, it hits his thigh, then goes onto his hand. There's nothing he can do about it, and then he gets a booking as well. I think that the booking was doubly harsh. Very, very harsh. But yeah, once Werner scored that 2-0, it just relaxed Chelsea, and at that point, I think then the game was over.
And the third goal, debut tonight for Hakim Ziyech. Of course, he got to the semi-finals, excuse me, of the Champions League, as we know, with Ajax, and he's on the score sheet. He did a couple of nice things in the first half, but that's good for him.
Yeah, it is. That'll give him confidence. He had a couple of chances before that where he wasn't quite at it. You know, he didn't quite get his chest over the ball, maybe just lacking a little bit of confidence, you know, to fire that ball, whip it into the far corner that we've seen him do so many times for Ajax. But the goal that he scored was magnificent. You know, that little bit of extra confidence that, you know, maybe he had from being relaxing that Chelsea were already 2-0 up. He tries it's a clever little sort of turn. He lets it through his legs, cuts it back with a back heel, and then swivels his hips a couple of times. Little touch to the outside of his left foot, and then cuts it back and fires it into the far corner. Real good, quick feet, tight skill, and a good finish.
Fourth goal was Christian Pulisic. Of course, he came on with Mason Mount and N'Golo Kante.
Those two made a difference.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they were sharp, they were bright, they added energy to the performance. And as the ball was played through to Pulisic, it's a good touch out of his feet on the turn. He hits it quickly, not much backlift. Might just keep the goalkeeper unaware very, very slightly, but it goes through his legs from 10 yards away. Another poor error from the goalkeeper.
Certainly was. Chelsea have won it 4-0. Danny, thank you very much. Danny Mills and Jim Proudfoot there. Commentary on TalkSport 2, the first of 2 Champions League games tonight. It finished Krasnodar 0, Chelsea 4. Chelsea, difficult first half, but they got the early lead, 3 goals in the second half. Top of the group. You can't ask for any more, apart from perhaps a better performance. Right, second game coming up for you now. Turin is the venue. Juventus against Barcelona, both, of course, former winners of the Champions League. And there's no Cristiano Ronaldo tonight. It will all be explained because Ian Danter is going to give you the team news.
Thank you very much, Russ. Let's bring you that team news straight away. Juventus make 3 changes from their 1-1 draw against Verona in Serie A at the weekend. The players coming in: Bentancur, Kulusevski and Chiesa. Aaron Ramsey drops out, so too does Artur, who would have loved to have started against his former club, and Bernardeschi, the other player to drop out for Andrea Pirlo's Juve, who play a 3-4-3 formation tonight. Wojciech Szczesny, once of Arsenal, of course, in goal. Meri Demiral, Leonardo Bonucci, who's passed a fitness test and takes his place at the centre of those 3 in defence. Danilo, the former Manchester City defender, is next to him. Bentancur and Rabiot are the holding midfielders centrally. Cuadrado and Kulusevski play right and left wide. And then 3 up top for the old lady: Chiesa, Dybala and Morata, the former Chelsea striker. Ramsey and Artur, who I mentioned, are amongst the substitutes. As for Barcelona, well, it never rains but it pours for Ronald Koeman, losing El Clasico at the weekend, the board resigning yesterday, all sorts of shenanigans going on at the Nou Camp, and in amongst all that, he can't call on Gerard Piqué tonight through suspension, and Philippe Coutinho pulled up with a hamstring injury in that defeat to Real Madrid at the weekend, so he's out. 5 changes in all for Barca, as well as Coutinho and Pico dropping out the side. Dest, Busquets and Fati are also benched. In comes Sergio Roberto, Araujo, Pjanic against his former club. He and Artur swapped, of course, between the 2 sides. Griezmann and Dembele, who's had such a ridiculous time out with injuries over the past 12 months or so, they come into the side. So it's Neto in goal for Barcelona, 4 at the back: Sergio Roberto, Ronald Araujo, Clement Lenglet and Jordi Alba. Pjanic and De Jong are the holding midfielders, and then the 3 behind the front man would appear to be Griezmann on the right, Pedri in the middle and Dembele left. In behind the captain Lionel Messi, and Dest, Busquets and Trincao and Fati are amongst the Barcelona substitutes, Russ.
Okay, thank you, Dan. David Connolly alongside Ian tonight. Evening to you, Dave.
Good evening, Russ.
It's going to be interesting to see how Barcelona bounce back a bit. El Clasico, huge game for them. They lost, and at the end of it, I don't know if you saw the pictures, I'm sure